Hey everybody, how you doing? It's your boy Shaheener coming at you with another episode of the Pokemon Babblers podcast. I'm of course joined once again by my co-host Bano and I.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we are talking about.
Meh.
Shout out to our Romanian homeboys.
Shout out to Go Goats.
Yeah, shout out to GoGo. So we are talking about, of course, Generation 5 for this episode.
5.
Well, we're talking about the main games, the first games of Gen 5, which were Pokemon Black and Pokemon White. So, these games, they were announced in, they were announced actually in April of 2010, and originally they were released in Japan in September of 2010, and then they didn't come out to America 11 months from the announcement, which was in March of 2011.
If you're old enough to remember
Yeah.
that Pokemon games came out in Japan first, then
Yeah.
in English.
Yeah, this was the last generation, as of right now, that was first released in another country and then to everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember very vividly the day of release for this for us in March of 2011.
I remember that too. I also, to chime in here, I don't remember the actual announcement. I remember like literally being in anatomy class, like, or I think it was a senior year.
Mhm.
No. Well, I don't know where I was. I was like in one of the science buildings, and Tien was like, my friend Tien was like, "Hey, you know Pokemon Black and White?" And I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? There's no way they're stupid enough to call Pokemon Black and White." And he's like, "Look it up." And I looked it up, and I was like, "Holy shit, Pokemon Black and White right now!"
And you know what's funny? Actually, today is Tien's birthday. So
Is
I
it?
know he's not
Hey!
watching it, but happy birthday, Tien. We miss
Happy
you
birthday,
very,
Tien.
very dearly.
My
But
good friend who informed me if Pokemon Black and White was an actual thing.
we miss you very dearly, is what
But
I
yeah,
should have
I do
said.
remember the day of release very well. Alex has more of a story than I do, but I do remember getting the game, and like I vividly remember like turning it on and seeing Professor Juniper, and then going and picking the starter.
Yes. So, my story with the release date of Black and White. So, earlier that day, I was talking with a friend, and I was interested in buying their Nintendo Wii because because I didn't have one. I wanted to mod it. I wanted to just play my other games. Don't tell Nintendo. Shh. But yeah, so I ended up going to the mall, picking up the Wii, and luckily that Wii had it had the original firmware, so it hadn't been updated or even used since launch. So I called up my British friend. I was like, "Hey, could you help me mod my Wii for me?" And she was like, "Yeah, sure, come over." So I went over to her place, and she was working on it. Everything was going great, and she was like, "Oh shit, I gotta go to my robotics meeting." Like, we were in high school, by the way, so it was like an after-school class kind of thing. And I was like, "Wait, I need to go to GameStop to pick up this game, and I don't have a car." So I walked from her house all the way over to the GameStop, which is maybe like, what would you say, like 2 miles?
Yeah,
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah, about like 2 miles or so. Walked all the way down, and it was really cloudy. It wasn't raining or anything, but it was very cloudy at that moment. The line to pick up the game was all the way like inside of the GameStop, like looping around and going outside just to pick up the freaking game. It took me over an hour just to pick up my pre-order. So then I started walking back because I had to go back to her place to get back the Wii, and also to get picked up by my mom, who I told her I was gonna be like at the house still. I didn't tell her I was going to a GameStop. So yeah, so I walked back, and it wasn't like full on raining at that point. It was like a heavy mist. It was like misting. I was just like I was pretty well soaked by the time I got back. But that was like, I barely remember like starting the game as much as I do acquiring the game, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, these games, like, I swear are. I know that people are talking about them more nowadays, like with like kind of like a nostalgic sense,
Mm-hmm.
which is still weird because like it's been 11 years since these games first came out, but
Jesus.
they've always been some of my favorites. Like Gen 5 is one of my favorite generations of all time. Like, I mean, we'll be getting to it on the next episode, but Black 2 and White 2 are like a close second on my favorite Pokemon games, like, ever. And so, yeah, Black and White were stellar. I got White originally. I never ended up getting Black version, which I still need to get a copy of it.
Well, good luck. They're like
Yeah.
$100.
Yeah, I know. It's
That's
so
a point we
bad.
could talk about real quick.
Yeah.
The prices for these games now that all the nostalgia and people are like, oh my god, they were so good, is
Mhm.
utterly ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because I think I remember seeing a copy of Black for like $80.
And that
Like
that's
yeah,
crazy, but like now you're seeing it for like $100 if you're lucky.
right.
Yeah, but I
And
think
it's
the reason for it isn't for the nostalgic value. It's the same thing how I feel about Heart Gold and Soul Silver, that they had the built-in IR sensors in the cartridge, which you
hmm
can't replicate that with an emulator. So if you want to
hmm
have the full experience, you have to have a real cartridge.
hmm
And so I think that's the reason why they're so expensive, because you can find like the older games like Ruby and Sapphire, like they're not as much as Black and White, or Black and White 2 for that matter, because they don't have IR built in it. Emerald is more expensive because it's like that was like the definitive version, but
hmm
yeah, like all those games like Heart Gold and Soul Silver, those games are like freaking $150 right now, I swear to god. It's so
Right.
bad. But
Anywho,
yeah.
so to coincide with the pre-release, we did get an outline of what the starters looked like, and I
Mhm.
remember seeing that picture. Can you pull up that picture? It was like the release photo. It's like they're all in black and white,
Yeah.
or they're
Let's
silhouettes.
see.
They're not like filled in. Like we got that before we got
Yeah,
anything
we
else.
got
Yeah,
this
there it is.
over
We got
here.
that's what we got, and then as you can see to the right of it, tons of people came up with like stupid like fan art ideas as to like what they could
Yeah,
be.
they
Like,
were
yeah,
looking at like this
like
was
I mean
probably
that
like
guy,
the one that people like showed around the most.
right? And I mean some people got it right. Some people were
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, this is the grass one. Well, I mean
Yeah.
obviously it had leaves for a tail,
Yeah.
but people came up with all sorts of designs, and I remember like constantly seeing like those like different things coming and
Mhm.
like seeing and just like it would be like every week there'd be like a new artist rendition of what the starters would look like based off the silhouettes. I
Mhm.
like that one with the Oshawott one with the acorn on its head, the duck with the acorn on its head.
Which one?
It's down, down, down,
Down,
down,
down,
down,
down.
right there
This one right here.
in the
Oh
middle.
my!
Yeah, that one. That looks fucking
What the
hilarious.
hell is that?
I know, but yeah,
Although that I would be down to see something like that. I mean, somebody did that with Quaxley. It looks like. What?
I mean,
Why?
obviously we didn't get the
Is this a
silhouettes, but
thing?
still,
Like just
I don't know.
acorn-headed grass types that are
Acorn-headed
obviously the
grass type.
waters?
Yeah, just see that.
Oh my god, that's so
But yeah,
funny.
like that, I can't. If I could like take a piece of that, give it to you, give it to people who weren't there, like during that hype. It's like it was crazy,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
it was just like a moment in time that you had to be there for. And
Hmm.
I'm sad that we can't like give that to people
Yeah,
anymore.
and
But yeah, it was it was cool.
yeah, and especially at the age that we were at too, where like we were teenagers and things like were starting to make sense around then too, where
hmm
it's like we started like comprehend like, okay, this is like, okay, so we could dive deep into it. We have the internet, we have all this stuff. Also, this was one of the last games where they had the announcements in the Coro Coro magazine,
Right.
which
Yeah.
now we're in the age where everything is based off of leaks and
Right.
like the rumors and all that stuff. But before, like with games like this, we were getting them in Japanese magazine articles. Like it was a
Right.
Pokemon themed magazine, Coral Core, or what? No, they were just like video games in general, right?
This is a video
Yeah,
game
video games
magazine
in
that they just
general.
took an ad, they took out an ad space on because
Yeah,
these games came out in Japan first and stuff like that.
right. And so we would just like have all these announcements through this magazine. And I think Coral Coro isn't in production anymore, right?
No, it still
It's
is. They
still
just
there.
don't do any.
Hmm.
They don't do any more
That
Pokemon articles,
sucks.
just because like the turnaround would be so quick.
Right.
Like if they put any details out of they do mostly for the anime now,
Hmm.
but like if for the video games, the turnaround would be so quick.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, and
People would buy
yeah,
it and scan it or just take a picture with their phone, and it'd be on the top page of Reddit in like
exactly.
seconds.
Yeah, because this was around the time that I was lurking on 4chan and stuff, so I was always on there looking at like the Coral Coral leaks and like rumors and all this stuff. I mean, of course, I would never go there in my right mind right now, but back in high school, I was a little bit of an edgelord, so
Say, 4chan had the best name for Snivy,
yeah,
Smugleaf.
Smugleaf. For Braviary, they had Wargle.
Wargle. Well,
Uh,
Wargle ended up being its actual
oh
name,
yeah,
but
the
they also
Japanese name.
had
Yeah,
Water.
yeah, Water. The
Water.
Oshawott. Oh
And
man.
then I don't think they had one for Tepig, but I
It
think
was
like
just like
people
Fire
just
Bacon.
Fire Bacon. Yeah, people just called it Fire Bacon,
Hold on, show
which is
Tepic
pretty
to the
funny.
screen. Oh,
Oh, da, 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 da.
I like that. That's a small
Then
ass plush.
it is. And then the only other one I have that's actually pretty bigger is Sandile.
Sandile. Hey, the
Yeah.
only one I have from Gen 5 is my Keldeo, which is a mythical. So like
But
this one was
better
given.
than Piplup because it got a Hisuian
Fuck
form and Piplup ain't
you.
got shit.
Fuck you, dude.
Piplup doesn't have
I
shit.
wasn't expecting to get hated on today. I
You
thought
expect
this was
hey,
gonna be a civil stream, and you pull this bullshit in my face. Like,
I just what bullshit. This isn't bullshit. This is the truth. This is
no,
the truth.
Oshawott okay. Like, I'll give you
Oshawa's
that.
not a
Oshawott's okay, but nothing compares
Oshawa's
to Piplup. Piplup is top tier water typing.
dog shit. Anywho,
And
this one was so yeah, we had the starters, and then this game was blew us away because it had 156 new Pokemon added
Mhm.
to the Pokedex from 493.
Yeah.
Kind of, it was basically a lot of people say it now, but it was basically like a revival of the series, basically
Mhm.
trying to draw inspiration from Red and Blue
Yeah.
by introducing a significant amount of Pokemon, changing the region like as much as they could, and then adding as many features as they possibly could just to like get people invested in it. Because I couldn't tell you because this is Pokemon diehard, but apparently there was like what do you call it, like a serious exhaustion. Like
Yeah.
people were kind of fed up with Pokemon at the time, or at least
Mhm.
a general percentage of people who didn't keep up with it were just like, you know what, I'm not gonna buy the next Pokemon game because it's just the same thing.
Mhm. Yeah,
But
because like
yeah,
every generation was just stacking on top of the last one, it's just stacking and stacking and stacking, and then with Generation 5, they're just like, okay, for the main playthrough, you're not going to see any of the Pokemon that you're familiar with. It's just going to be a brand new experience like Gen 1,
hmm
where it's like you had no
right,
reference to anything else. It was just like, here's
all
all
new Pokemon.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so the amount of Pokemon is very similar to Gen 1 as well, because Gen 1 had 151 Pokemon. This one had
hmm
156, which technically makes this generation the most Pokemon introduced in a single one. And so everything was changed, but also there's a lot of parallels with the generations in terms of like what it's going to be. What, like, you had your generic bird Pokemon, your bug Pokemon, you had
hmm
your 3-stage water types like Seismitoad,
hmm
and yeah, they just like, I felt like that they kind of played a parallel, almost like how Star Wars Episode 7 is to 4, where it's
Right.
like it kind of like parallels to start it off fresh in a way,
Right.
but it still kept that familiarity. Also,
Yeah.
the overworld for this, for the Unova region, was circular because
It
you just
was
go
a big
in one
circle.
big old circle for the area. It's not
Right.
like you're like jumping all over the map like you would like a country. You're going in a circle.
Right. Much like Lumio City in
Yeah.
X and Y, they did say like, oh, you can't,
Mhm.
because you do reach the circle point and like you can't go to the right, which is like where all the post game stuff is. You could only go left, and they
Mhm.
were just like, oh, you can't go this way. Lol, 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 troll, lol, lol.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, once you hit Castalia and you go north, you can't go right. You can only go left around
Mhm.
the map.
Yeah, you have to go this way, or yeah, you have to go counterclock, or you have to go clockwise from the middle with Castalia City, and then
Mhm.
after you beat the game, then you could go more into the eastern side of
The
Unova.
Eastern Unova.
Yeah.
And then one thing that's never like specifically said is that the little like the center over there is
Hmm.
like the Entralink, but we'll get to
Right.
that part when we get there. But it's
Right.
kind of weird that you have like this giant hole in the
Hmm.
center of the map. It's
But
also supposed to be a nod to Central Park, which I don't
mhm.
get because Castalia City is not in Castalia City, but whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I see the similarities because, yeah, like you said, like there's a lot of like nods to New York in general. I feel like that would make sense with Pokemon because they had their Pokemon Center store in New York, is the only one in the U.S. And of
Hmm.
course, now it's a Nintendo World store. It's not like Pokemon dedicated anymore. But
Right.
the door handles apparently are still the Pokeballs, or like
Oh,
they're
okay, that's
still,
cool.
yeah, at least from what I know.
But yeah, like yeah, it was like kind of weird because like you see Hilbert and Hilda, and the first you don't think they're at least to
Mhm.
me they don't look like they're kids. They definitely look like they're 15 or 14,
Let's see.
and so it kind of is like
Oh,
different.
no,
That's Nate
that,
and
yeah.
or yeah Nate and what's her name?
There we go. Uh, I don't remember.
Hilbert and Hilda, and then
Yeah,
Nate and Rosa. Yeah, Nate and Rosa.
yeah. Let's
But
go.
yeah, it was weird. It was weird to see. I mean, as a growing up person, it's great to see that I'm not
Hmm.
playing a children's game anymore.
Yeah.
But they definitely aged them up. You can't argue that.
Hmm.
And it's just it definitely felt a little like a breath of fresh air to be doing that. And I don't think they ever referenced your age in the game
Hmm.
to kind of keep you on the like
Yeah.
just keep it up in the air and not
Yeah, but
pin
I
you down to
definitely
10 years
presume
old.
that they're more like the teenager age like
Right.
15-ish. But
Right.
I always wondered though. I mean, you could kind of tell it's like that Hilda made her own like shorts that the pockets are just sticking out still. It's like, I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
got to have space for all the Pokeballs and key items and stuff like that. But
Also, she's pasty as hell, but
oh,
whatever.
I mean, maybe I think that this picture's just oversaturated as well.
Yeah, and so yeah, right from the get-go, when you start these games, you have obviously you have the difference in the games as always. There's always a different version exclusive difference. So there are version exclusive Pokemon to this game,
Mhm.
but not as many as you'd think there would be. I know, well, like version specific Pokemon,
Yeah,
like Pokemon that you could only catch on this game, and there are some like you can see through here. There are some that are
yeah,
like are from older games,
yeah.
but
At
most of
least for the
those are
newer
like
games, then there's a
yeah,
little
at
bit.
least for the newer Pokemon introduced, there's not that very many. I
Yeah,
believe it's like Petlil and
Cottony,
Cottony, and then the
Gothita.
Basculins and
Yeah,
Gothita and
yeah.
Ranunculus.
And also, the with the Kami trio, that Tornadus and Thundurus are exclusive to the games,
Yes,
but you
so
do
the
have to have
legendary
both of
Pokemon.
them to get Landorus.
Right.
Yeah,
So yeah, go out and buy
yeah, exactly. Consume product.
consume product.
Yeah.
And so yeah, those aren't the only version differences. We'll get to some more version differences between the games later
Mm-hmm.
on because it actually with these two it actually felt like you were bought they were separate games.
Mm-hmm.
Like you were buying obviously you're buying the same experience but like overall like the game differences I think I don't know if they necessarily like add up to you should get both but like they're notably different.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, this like especially now, it's like this game really showed that there's a lot of like that they had the potential of making drastically version different games. I mean,
Right.
yeah, I mean, even like they had some areas that are exclusive to the games as well. Like they had
Right.
some areas that were exclusive, even some battles that were different, like that were different.
Even different towns were different.
Yeah, yeah, it's just like small variation here and there, but enough to make it feel like you were getting a slightly different experience.
A slightly different experience, yeah.
Yeah,
So we'll get to those later, but another thing that they introduced in this game. So with Gen 2, they introduced the concept of day and night cycle,
yeah,
right? You can play in the day and you can play at night. In Gen 3, that kind of wasn't apparent. There was an internal clock, but you know the sky never turned dark,
yeah.
and the Pokemon table never changed. Gen
Mm-hmm.
4, they brought it back, so it was more noticeable. You had the Poketch and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell the day and night cycles to add on to that, and it's a kind of a shame that they abandoned it somewhat. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we do have weather and stuff like that in the newer games, but see the concept of seasons was
Yes.
introduced in this game, and so you could go through fall, winter, summer, and spring in this game, and I believe they only lasted for a month.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, the seasons only last for a month, and what it did is it radically changed some routes in the game, especially during like the winter months.
Mm-hmm.
Items that you weren't able to access because they were like I don't know surrounded by something that you couldn't get to
Yeah,
would be accessible in the winter because you could crawl across the snow
exactly. Or the leaves in the fall, or
or the leaves in
yeah,
the
or you have to
fall,
wait for the snow to melt to even get past it, like in the spring.
right?
Yeah, it's really cool
And I
stuff like
really
that.
think they could have even gone farther with stuff like that. Like you had to wait like a couple seasons for like like some cliff to get washed away from like snowfall. Like it gets
Mm-hmm.
snowed on, summer comes along and then like it melts it, but it ends up like crumbling away the rocks and like
Mm-hmm.
you can
But
go
then, how does
forward.
it grow back?
How does it grow back?
How does it grow
No,
back?
no. But I really feel like it's such a nice touch on these games that
Mm-hmm.
you could go through the game and not notice it, but once you like move on from there, you'd be like, oh, that was something that I
Yeah.
really missed and something that they could have
Mm-hmm.
expanded on later.
Yeah, and it ended up
Obviously, like
ruining a certain Pokemon too going forward.
it did,
There was a Pokemon that was reliant on this well now gimmick is
right?
Deerling and Sasbuck were some grass
Hmm.
normal types that were dependent on the seasons for their form changes. And so now, since you don't have that in these current games, they only have the one certain season, which is summer. Is that right?
I think it's the
Or spring?
spring. It's the
Yeah, it's a
pink.
green. Oh, it's a pink one. Okay, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
you only have the one season. So.
yeah. Yeah, so if you trade any of like the different season deerlings up from Gen 5, they convert to the spring form. Like
Mhm,
the seasonal forms only exist in black and black and white too. So that puts
mhm.
like a premium on a Sawsbuck shiny in these games.
Yeah.
But other than that, there's nothing like that. But I really feel like they kind of should bring them back.
I agree.
Uh it's
100%
just
should bring it
hard.
back.
It's hard because you'd have to plan around stuff like, like what items would you restrict that you could only get in the winter?
Hmm.
And I think that's one of the problems they face in this game, and which is kind of why it hasn't been brought back. Especially if you use the seasons to like gate off certain areas, because then your player would have to wait, say, 3 months. Or
Yeah.
well, I don't think it'd be too bad now because people manipulate the switch time like it's nothing.
All the time.
I know people did that for Sword and Shield. I know a lot of because like the weathers were tied to like the days of the month. So people
Hmm.
would just be like, "Oh, hey, the June 23rd is Misty Day, and that's how you can see Clefairy on this route
Yeah.
or something or raining to go see was it
Yeah.
it's not Dragapult, it's the first one, Dreepy.
Dreepy. Yeah.
Yeah, like this is how you get Dreepy. You just change your switch date to this time and you
Yeah.
can find Dreepy.
Or finding certain Pokemon in a den that you
Right.
would have to basically change the day, and then
Right.
you'd have to refresh and go back and forth. But also, every time that you do that, you would get the whatever the watts, and so I ended up
Yeah.
getting so many watts from that shit. But anyways, that's more of a side tangent, I guess. But
Right. Yeah.
bring
I
seasons
miss
back.
I miss seasons as a feature, and I
Yeah.
really feel like it should return because obviously it should be as crucial to the game as the day and night cycle,
Yeah.
because it really fleshes out the world by having seasons and your time rather
Mhm.
than it being green wherever,
Yeah.
because you get that disparity like in Sword and Shield when you're in the wild area where everything's fine, normal's fine, and then I move 20 feet to the left and it's goddamn fog, or I
Yeah.
move 20 feet to the right and it's
I
a fucking
I
sandstorm,
hate the limited visibility in the wild
right?
area. It is
And I don't
so
I don't
annoying.
I don't mind that so much on like the overworld map, because obviously if you go north of Castelia City, it's a damn desert,
Hmm.
and then once you pass the desert, you're in Nimbasa City.
Hmm.
So we could be like, okay, well, like this certain area is different, and the games are like
Yeah.
compact, so it could be like miles from Castelia City is a desert,
Yeah.
and then miles from the desert
But also,
is
these
Nimbasa
games have a
City.
noticeably large file size as well compared to any other DS game. Like these games have like a couple hundred megabytes per game. It's
Right.
pretty massive, which
It is
is
pretty crazy how
yeah.
big it is for
Hmm.
a DS game, especially.
Yeah.
And now
Absolutely.
you're wondering like how could this sword how much could they add with the Switch
Hmm.
cartridges, which are generally small or basically like micro SDs at this
Yeah.
point.
Uh-huh. But also, this was the last generation that really like used the 2D graphics. Still, I mean, granted, there's a
Hmm.
lot of 3D in here, but like this is the
Hmm.
last generation where you saw your character in a 2D plane.
Yeah, it really did push the Switch, or not the Switch, the DS hardware, because I
Hmm.
believe like the latest model of DS at this time would have been what, the DSi.
Yeah, and they had enhanced DSi capabilities for black and white. Like, I mean, granted,
Hmm.
yeah, you could play it on like whatever DSs, but it had more functionality on the DSi, which
Right, ripped to the
I
DSi.
never had a
Me neither.
DSi. So, yeah, but then Black and White 2 had more compatibility with the 3DS, which came out, which we'll get
Right.
into on the next episode. But it
Yeah.
is good though that they finally got to switch the because with the DSi that it used a WPA internet connection instead of WEP like it was using in Diamond and Pearl and all that.
Right.
And so it's like WEP is super unprotected, super unsafe. So with WPA, like you could actually like go on the internet on like a regular DS and not have to worry about like or like even like playing on the 3DS when I was playing it, like you could go on the 3DS and it'd
Hmm.
be and you can still connect on the Wi-Fi features like trading online and the Dream World, which we'll get into in a little bit. But
Hmm.
yeah, that was really nice that I was able to do that because I feel like I missed out by not having a WEP internet connection. As weird as it
Hmm.
sounds, like with Platinum, that I didn't really get to do anything online because like we had WPA at home and WEP was just like antiquated at that point.
So moving on, we talked about seasons because like that's like the first thing you see when you turn on your game. As soon as you exit your house, it'll
Mhm.
tell you what season you're
Yeah,
in.
which I believe he started in spring when the game launched.
Yeah, when there's
Yeah,
yeah, you do start in spring when the game launches. Moving on from that, you go into, well, I don't even think in black and white you leave your house
yeah.
before you meet these people, but you get introduced to
Rivals.
both of your rivals in both one boy and a girl named both Sharon and Bianca
Bianca.
respectively.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sharon and Bianca.
And following the theme of your character being aged up, your rivals are pretty much aged up as well. Sharon is obviously exactly how he looks, you know, not really a nerd, but more like focused in what he wants and what he wants to get. Bianca's kind of just like your airheaded, lighthearted friend who
Mm-hmm.
just periodically shows up to encourage you. But strangely enough, Bianca has like her own actual like side story in
Yeah.
this game that actually like is a little bit outside of the box for a Pokemon game.
Mm-hmm.
Sharon,
Yeah.
not so much. I believe Sharon's parents are both like ace trainers or whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
and so Sharon kind of just wants to follow suit in their thing. And Sharon kind of just serves as your general,
Like
blue
dude
antagonist.
rival. Yeah.
Yeah, dude rival. Like he doesn't make a scene of him trying to be stronger than you or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of bland in his personality
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah. I don't
but
really care for Sharon at all.
he does what's right. He does what's right, and
Mm-hmm.
when he encounters like there are certain like things with like the evil team in this game where he will step up and try to do what's right.
Mm-hmm.
And even like your final fight against him, it's not like I hate you or I'm gonna prove I'm stronger than you. It's just like, hey, let's battle.
Yeah. Like I felt nothing towards Sharon. I feel like that whenever he came up, he was like, "Oh yeah, you're here. You exist."
Right,
Where it's like when you have such strong personalities like Gary or Barry or
right.
the rival in Gold and Silver. I mean,
Hmm.
granted, he got more of his arc in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but Bianca, I
Right.
felt like by default I ended up liking her more. But even then, I just felt indifferent towards her too. Like,
She had her story,
yeah,
like her story, but it ends at like the fourth gym. Like
yeah,
after that, she doesn't get like any more,
mhm,
any more development.
yeah,
It's great. It was
mhm,
definitely like a holy shit. Am I playing a like holding your DS? Am I playing a Pokemon game right now?
yeah,
But it just after that it just it has its high and then it just stops because it doesn't go anywhere. Like they ran out of fuel like halfway up the map.
mm-hmm,
And so I like them both. They definitely have great designs. They stand out from most of the other rivals that you have, and I definitely like them more than the X and Y rivals.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, the X and Y rivals are just
And
straight up annoying.
right, and it's not like they didn't forget them either, because in Black and White 2, they even get more development as to
Yeah.
what they're doing and to like sell those games even harder.
Yeah, exactly. Like you get to see them a little bit more aged because the games are a few years in the future. But
Right,
yeah, of course we'll get into that in the Black and White 2 episode.
Black and White 2 episode. But yeah,
Yeah.
for the most part, I love their design. Sharon, I could take him or leave him.
Yeah.
Really, he serves as like kind of like a check. Bianca, it's always nice to see her in the game.
Hmm.
And I really enjoyed her story. I just wish they gave her more. But yeah, they don't really have any goals. I think in the anime, Bianca is like a completely different person and actually is more focused on battling. Black and white anime is just a can of worms of its own thing.
Yeah, that's where I stopped watching the anime.
Right.
And I want to get back into it because of all the stuff that's been happening like in the Galar League. I kind of want to get back to it, but also it's such a mountain to climb to like get to that, especially now at a time where it's like I don't really have much free time anymore apart from work and
Hmm.
like streaming and stuff. Where it's
Hmm.
like I don't have any time to watch TV anymore, let alone like 500 fucking episodes of the same shit over and over again just to look for the good
Right.
moments. Yeah.
Right. And so moving on, replacing your Poketch is going to be what's called the X Transceiver, which is
Hmm.
basically a Poketch. It's
Yeah.
a watch. It's basically an Apple's iWatch, the Apple Watch,
Yeah. Yeah, the cross
basically.
transceiver.
Yeah. So basically, what it serves is like the what do you call it? The Poke Gear. You can call people on it. It's used a couple times during the story,
Hmm.
but it's not like you can like boot it up and like call people at any time. At least I never did.
I never did either.
And so yeah, there it is right there. And
Hmm.
it really like I said, it serves just like a couple of times. Like you just talk to people on it, and it serves as like a pseudo cutscene as you talk to people.
Yeah.
But the main function that it has on there that you do use a lot for is the Sea Gear, which is
Yeah.
I guess like an app on it. And using the Sea Gear, you can access Entralink, which we'll get to later, but it also is like your main gateway into wireless functionality
Hmm.
with trade, battling,
Yeah.
all of the Entralink missions, which we'll get
Yeah.
to later.
Hmm.
And it also served as a way that you could, and you can see right there from the Google search, you
Hmm.
could change
The theme of it.
the the theme of it, which was reliant on downloads from what was it, the Nintendo Wi-Fi
Wi-Fi.
service.
Yeah,
RIP.
exactly. Yeah, rest in peace.
Rest in peace, which was really cool because I think at one point I had a file with the 2011 World Championship one, which I think is a
Uh-huh.
Pikachu with a hat skateboarding. Yeah, that one. I loved that theme. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. So it showed the IR capability too, which I think this was the only
Right.
generation that allowed you to trade with IR.
Right.
which was kind of
They
cool.
had the IR functionality for the Poke Walker in Heart Gold Soul Silver, no?
They did, but at least with connecting to other players, that
Right.
you could like trade with IR, which was really quick. Like you didn't have to go through like looking for somebody. You just connected the DSs together, and then you just go a little bit further, and then you trade.
I do
Yeah,
remember it being a little jank and trying to
yeah.
like line it up.
Yeah, I always got it working fine, but like I don't know, the other people that I was doing trades with, they were also they were seasoned veterans, let's say, at the
Hmm.
community college. Yeah, at least that's
Right.
more black to white.
But yeah, the Sea Gear was nice. It had very limited functionality as to like say
Yeah,
like then your Poketch, because your Poketch had like counter apps and all kinds of other stuff.
yeah.
Whereas the Sea Gear has the three buttons: Wi-Fi, wireless, and IR. But yeah, it also had time. I think it also had your battery life, or is that just?
Yeah, it showed your battery. You see it in the top right over here. It also showed
And
your
then it also,
connectivity and
yeah, connectivity and whatnot.
yeah.
So it had its purpose, but I feel like the Poketch kind of like outdoes it.
Yeah. It also,
Especially
when you started up the game, it asks you if you want to turn on the secret functionality every single time. Like, you couldn't
every
just,
single
like,
time, yeah.
naturally just have it as, like, a default or whatever, which, I mean,
Which
it's
they
whatever.
fixed in
Yeah.
X and Y because it's a button that you push to turn on rather than
Yeah.
it asking you.
Yeah,
So if you
exactly.
wanted Wi-Fi functionality, you tap the Wi-Fi button to turn
Mhm.
it on. It's not
Yeah.
like you have to get asked at the beginning. But
Mhm.
moving on from there, we could talk about the Global Link and the Dream World.
Yes, the global link, that one, were you familiar with it all? I can't remember it.
As much as anybody else was, you literally just connected to it to get like trade, like worldwide trades, as well as
Mhm.
getting the doing like the missions. Like they'd have like a mission like, oh, go we're gonna have like a thing where people catch like 2 million Pokemon, and then like as you connected to the global link, it would count up like how many Pokemon. Kind of
Mm.
like I think we have those for like Pokemon Go now. Like they have those
Yeah.
challenges for like, hey, go catch 60 million water Pokemon, and they'll count it up from all the people
They
in the
even had
world.
that for Sword and Shield. It's like, if
Yeah,
everybody beats, like, the Zero Aura Den, then everybody gets a shiny Zero Aura.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but also then the dream world is something that I was very familiar with. I use that all the time, and it's the thing I
right.
miss the most out of Gen 5. I miss it so freaking much. So,
It's true.
yeah, it was
It's
great.
definitely something that they could bring back that would,
Oh my
I
god.
think, be a lot. It would be more beneficial than harmful, because
Yeah.
what the dream world did is that you could essentially send Pokemon to their dreams, but what that meant was that you would upload your Pokemon to a server,
Mhm.
which you would then access using like your credentials, and you have to create like an account on Pokemon.com and link it to
Mhm.
your game. So you'd have to have your game connect to the global link. It gave you a passcode, and you would enter it on the website. But once
Mhm.
you completed all that, your Pokemon would appear on basically like what is like a hub world, a hub island, and
Mhm.
from there you'd have like a house and berry fields and whatnot. And your house could be different stuff and stuff like that. But the best part about it is that you could play like basically like flash mini games
Yeah.
to earn stuff to like increase your island or get different berries, or the best part, encounter different Pokemon. And then if you like befriended those Pokemon on Dream World, you could send those Pokemon back to your main file.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
Yeah, it
so
was. I
yeah,
played those mini games all the time. My berry garden, I decked that shit out.
yeah,
I
Berry
was
Garden,
all.
the ice cream one,
Mhm.
and stuff like that.
Man, I
And it
miss
was,
it.
yeah, like I said, it definitely was like crazy to me that they had stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was basically like a replacement for the Pokewalker, but it was like all online, and you could go and find different Pokemon by going down the different routes and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
it also, what it did was, because you could bring these Pokemon from this to your main game, it also introduced the concept of hidden abilities. So some of these
Mhm.
Pokemon would actually have a different ability than they normally would have,
Mhm.
and then through breeding you could also pass those abilities on, rather than how we have it now with a hidden ability capsule, or you finding it like with in the special event and stuff
Mhm.
like that. But I
Yeah.
would love to see like what a rendition of the dream world would be now
I
with Scarlet and
I
Violet.
feel like it'd be very integrated with mobile
It
because
would
that's just where
maybe,
everything
yeah,
is going to. Because back then it's like the
dude.
mobile phones were not that
Dude,
good,
oh my
so
god, oh my god,
everything
oh
was
my god, oh my
PC.
god. Hang
Yeah.
on. Pause.
Yeah.
Pause the stream.
Pause
Pause the
it.
stream.
Pause. Skirt.
This is fucking conspiracy hour, dude. What if Pokemon Sleep is fucking is the new Dream World thing?
What?
Yeah. Yeah, what if Pokemon Sleep was meant to be the whole fucking dream, like a re-release of the Dream World? And like, and you, oh my god, oh my god, ah!
I think you're getting a little bit too far ahead of yourself on that one. It's basically just the have you ever had a dreams kind of
I don't know. Dream World, Pokemon Sleep,
I
Pokemon
mean
Sleep.
I mean
What else would Pokemon Sleep be
your
then?
your theories are putting me to Pokemon sleep.
What would Pokemon Sleep be?
I Pokemon sleep.
But yeah, like you said, if it was more incorporated with mobile and like Pokemon
Yeah.
Sleep was supposed to be a mobile project and they did
Hmm.
that, I mean, like I said,
I
I think it'd
mean,
be
I'm
beneficial
not opposed to it. Trust me. Anything relating
because
to the Dream World, I let's go. Let's fucking do it.
especially
But
with with children, like the age for like children getting mobile phones is getting lower and lower and lower and lower and lower.
mhm,
So especially with more and more children just getting access to phones and like you said, they were simple flash games that
mhm,
anybody could have done
yeah.
and gotten stuff from. So I feel like with that, and then like the tie and be like, oh, I got all these. Mom, look, I got all these Pokemon on my fucking,
But listen,
uh,
listen, right?
what?
If it's in this day and age, it's probably gonna be littered with microtransactions, like all the other freemium Pokemon games on mobile. It's gonna be
Well,
littered
that's
with like
true.
you gotta buy these Dream Crystals, or you gotta wait 3 hours to play again.
It's true, but
Some,
you do like even with those games, you still do get like something from it.
yeah.
Like obviously you would have, yeah, you'd probably have to pay like 1,000 fucking Dream Crystals, which cost like $100
Mhm.
to get like a Dratini from the Dream World or
Ugh,
something like that.
ugh,
But at the same time, like I feel like okay, that's its own thing, and I don't need it because I have access to the games, and I also already have Dratini
yeah.
shiny with Marvel Scale, whatever.
Right.
But I
Okay,
feel
weird
like that
flex, but okay.
weird flex, yeah. But I feel like it would be a nice tie-in
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
what we have now, and I
Yeah.
think that maybe that's what it was, and maybe that's why they I don't know if they canned it or whatnot, but we haven't heard anything about
Yeah.
what
I don't
Detective
think it's
Pikachu
happening.
2 and Pokemon Sleep
Sleep, I don't think is
or and
happening.
Smile is Smile out? Pokemon Smile?
Smile's been out. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Smile's out. So
Yeah.
yeah, Pokemon Sleep and Pokemon and Detective Pikachu 2, like no,
Detective
we're
Pikachu 2, they said is still happening. Like they said it's definitely happening, but
mhm.
with but at least as the game. I think they pretty much said that the movie isn't happening anymore. Like,
Okay.
yeah, but I feel like that sleep is just not gonna happen anymore. They have too many things going on, too many moving parts, and I feel like that sleep would just like be a thing where people would just be like, "Why? Why would you put it out now?"
I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe they wanted to come out with a new generation. Maybe that's why it got put on the burner.
but it's been on the
But
back
yeah,
burner for years now.
no, they talked about it after Sword and Shield. I know that.
Still, that's years.
Yeah, 2019, what, 3
Yeah,
years?
yeah, that was they announced it. Well, it was allegedly supposed to come out in 2020.
hmm
So it's been 2 years
Then
since
the
they even
world
said anything.
ended.
Yeah, but also like they already have Scarlet and Violet like on the horizon. Like that's
Right? And then they
already
could do
like coming
Pokemon
out.
Sleep after
Yeah,
that.
I mean, if they
Well,
want,
that's
you know.
assuming that it's like a replacement for the Dream World. We still don't
Yeah,
know what Pokemon
yeah,
Sleep is, but
it's
if it was, I would have no problem with it
yeah.
coming back.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
I'd have no problem with it
Yeah.
coming back. I loved everything about
Mhm.
about the Dream World, especially with just like getting the Pokemon and the hidden abilities. And I believe every Pokemon that came from the Dream World was put into a Dream Ball, and that is the
Yeah.
only way to get a Dream Ball,
Rest in peace to the
which puts
Dream
a
World.
premium. Yeah, which puts a premium on those Pokemon
Yeah.
that exist still.
Exactly. But also, moving on from there, in the battle, there's a few different things that were changed up for the battles. Well, I mean, this is more of an aesthetic thing, but
Hmm.
they had animations, like constant animations for the Pokemon during the battle, where instead of them
Right.
doing their intro animation, then they're just static. Like they move
Hmm.
the whole time, like they're kind of like jiving and dancing and doing
Their
whatever.
eyes also close when they
Yeah,
get put to sleep.
but I mean, they've had that for a while too, or at least like they had it in XD. XD and Coliseum had it.
They did, but those
Yeah,
aren't like main.
yeah,
Those
yeah.
weren't like DS
Those aren't
games.
good games.
Yeah, that's
I'm
right.
kidding. I'm kidding.
But yeah, they had the sprites move, which is kind of a
Yeah.
contrast from Heart Gold and Soul Silver, where the sprite detail was like like
Hmm.
clear, very clear,
Yeah.
and very detailed. Whereas in
It
Black
looks a
and
little
White,
blockier.
they look a little blockier, and like the animations don't really. It's hard for pixels to like move and have it be kind of like fluid,
Yeah.
because some of them they move and it doesn't look right. It
Yeah.
was definitely like a huge contrast, and I remember seeing it and being like, ugh, we went
Hmm.
from like perfectly detailed sprite to this.
Yeah. Right.
And
Uh.
so it was a little weird. I think they have the animations in the Gen 5 Pokedex if you pull it up,
Yeah. I'll pull it up.
and the black and white Pokedex on top right there.
Oh, here.
But yeah, like yeah, if they're
No,
like
it
right
doesn't.
there. They don't move, but you could
Yeah.
definitely see like they have like an outline to them, and they're
Hmm.
more yeah.
Yeah.
So they're like that as opposed to if you pull up a Gen 4 sprite where they're like really just like, dot 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 like detailed to a letter.
It's like in Gen 5.
Right.
Then when you go to Gen 4, it looks the exact same. Well, actually, no.
Right.
Heart Gold looks way better because it almost like takes the Diamond and Pearl sprite for Gen 5.
So yeah, it was definitely like a huge contrast, especially when you see them moving. Which I don't know, it depends on who you were. I didn't care for it much at first. I don't really care about it now,
Yeah.
but at the time I was kind of like, ugh.
Hmm. Also, in terms of actual mechanics, like battling mechanics, there were a couple different types of battle styles that were introduced. So in
Right.
Generation 3, they had the double battles that were introduced. Generation 5, they add another one to that. They add the triple battles and they add rotation battles. So,
Right, which
yeah.
was a nice attempt.
Yeah. I liked them. I liked them, and I wish that they would have more stuff like that in the new games, or at least how we said about with like the inverse battles, like something like that where you had
Yeah,
like a battle frontier
I'm more
esque
of a fan
area
of
about
that
yeah,
aspect than I am the triple and rotation
yeah.
battles because
I
the
liked them.
triple battles
It was a
I don't
lot.
know
It was a lot.
it was a lot because like you could like the far left Pokemon couldn't attack the far right Pokemon unless
Hmm.
it had a certain move.
Yeah,
I just feel like they weren't different enough from double battles to like be their own thing.
yeah. I feel like that as a niche would be kind of cool, where it's like if we were having a new battle frontier, which
Right.
I mean, again, would never happen, but
Will never happen.
yeah. But you have like your triple battle area. You have your rotation battle area, your inverse battle area. Like
And
you
they
have
did,
like
yeah,
those.
they did try a little bit because they did add moves into the game that, like, if used in concert, it
Hmm.
would be like extra powerful, like the pledge moves. But I don't know. I just feel like it wasn't different enough, too different enough from double battles to be like its own thing and be, I don't know, be better than it was. Rotation battles kind of served another niche. You could change the position of Pokemon during battle in a triple battle format. I think that having that in a double battle format first might have been better
Yeah.
than going straight from the triple battle because triple battles weren't proven yet
Hmm.
as like a good concept, and they kind of just threw rotation battle in there.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know. It'd be kind of cheesy if they had just the two Pokemon and it's that you use your if you use the swap instead of a move, maybe
Hmm.
that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I feel like they did better with like inverse battles and stuff like that going forward than triple and rotation
Yeah,
battles,
it
which
was a
is
proof of
sad.
is a proof of concept. I feel like that, like for what it's worth, it was enjoyable for that little moment, but
Right.
they definitely did better with the inverse battles. But then after that, unfortunately, it's just nothing.
Something like that. Another thing that moving on from battles that you could do with multiplayer battles is that with multiplayer battles up until this point, and I believe even further on, you could only have Pokemon that had held items.
Hmm.
You couldn't use items in a game. Gen 5 introduced the concept of the Wonder Launcher,
Yeah.
which I believe I'm not entirely sure because I don't ever think I used it, but I believe you get awarded points based on how long you've been battling for or how many Pokemon. It's based on some weird system
Hmm.
on like either you're given Wonder Launcher points or you're awarded points for like doing for turns, and in turn you could use those points to pay for items to use in battle. So if you wanted to use a potion on a Pokemon, you could do that. If you wanted to give a Pokemon an attack, an X attack, you could do that, and whatnot. I feel like that is probably more of a more of a better battle thing than the triple battle and the rotation
Yeah.
battles.
I
I definitely
forgot
feel
that
like
those
you could do
existed. Honestly, the Wonder
right. I feel
Launcher.
like you could do a Battle Frontier thing with the Wonder Launcher.
Hmm.
Like kind of like how the like say you have like a 7 set battle, right? You have
Yeah.
about you get points after each one, right?
Hmm.
But how you use those points in the battles going forward is like is how you go forward.
Hmm.
So say you win 5 battles, you got 5 points. If you did like a not, if you did like a triple knockout without losing a Pokemon, you get awarded more points
Hmm.
and stuff like that. And there's all the items as you can see. You get like X attacks, full heals,
Hyper
ethers,
potions, max
yeah, hyper post,
revives.
yeah, stuff like that.
Hmm.
And you could and like going forward, you could go and do stuff like that. I feel like there's a lot more potential with the Wonder Launcher than they gave it credit for. At least more so than the triple, and the rotation battles. Another thing for battles, especially this is like the one thing, at least with the online competitive, is that Gen 5 is known for, is endless weather. So
Yes.
up until this point in the games, if you use like sandstorm or hail or rain dance, it would last 5 turns
Mm-hmm.
unless you had the Pokemon attached with like the
Damp
weather rock,
rock or yeah.
damp rock or whatever. It would last 8 turns, and that was okay. But with Gen 5 introduced, I believe it was Gen 5 exclusive, or at least it was known for Gen 5 the most. It was like the season of weather, because every Pokemon that had like the ability Sandstream or Snow Warning,
It went
or
forever.
yeah, it lasted until another weather was introduced. So it was always a constant like back and forth with weather. If somebody threw out, Pelipper and it would start raining, then somebody would respond with their weather Pokemon,
Mm-hmm.
and it would go back and forth and back and forth and back and
Yeah,
forth.
and Castform was just a child of divorce at that point. It's just like,
Yeah,
who
until
am
until
I?
yeah, like if you ever watch any like Smogon like Gen 5 tournaments, it's always just the back and forth as to who controls the weather.
Mm-hmm.
And that I actually enjoyed it as a concept, because
It adds another
weather
layer
kind of
to it
gets
all.
yeah weather gets slept on a lot, but it does add like a whole nother potential for battles.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, Sword and Shield, it got like abused even more, because like now you have the Z moves on top of activating the weather,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of like robs weather, like the niche of weather,
Yeah.
because I think at one point there's one move where you can have both rain and electric terrain active at the same time.
Yeah, that's the has science gone too far, I feel
Yeah, has
like.
science gone too far and
Yeah.
stuff like that? But yeah, I enjoyed weather in Gen 5.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously going forward, I believe it does peter out after like a couple of turns.
Yeah.
It's not endless anymore, and the constant battle for weather is over.
Mm-hmm.
But when it was a thing, you just look up any Gen 5 battles. You'll
Yeah.
see it's like the
Mm-hmm.
teams centered around weather is like ridiculous. Like
Oh
you'd
yeah.
have ice teams. They even play on this fact in Black and White 2 with a certain trainer, which we'll get into in the Black and White 2 episode. I know we say that a lot, but I will bring it up when it comes up
The black
there.
and white episode two will be huge.
Yeah, episode 2
Yeah,
of Black and
and
White.
that's
Yeah.
actually as a side thing over here. We were thinking about like what we were gonna do with Black and White and then Black and White Two. Originally, we were thinking of doing like recording one big session and then just breaking it up in episodic kind of deals. But we realized Black and White Two have so much content on their own that
Hmm.
like they just deserve their own episode.
Yeah.
So that's why you guys are gonna have to wait for Black and White Two episode because it's just its own game basically. Like it's its own thing.
Well, moving forward, the evil team of this game isn't as
Team
obsessed with weather, or
Plasma.
isn't obsessed with changing the fabric of reality.
Yeah.
They're more upset. They have a more
Free the Pokemon, man. Peace and
yeah,
love. Peace and
l-
love.
might have hit the nail too hard on the head there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Team Plasma is the new evil team of this game, and their goal out from the outset is to free all Pokemon from oppression,
Mm-hmm.
whether that be abusing them for as a workforce, like the Machop that's laying the
Mm-hmm.
foundation in Vermilion City for
Yeah.
that building,
Mm-hmm.
or free from the oppression of trainers and Pokeballs, and they're hard believers in that Pokemon shouldn't be kept or contained by humans, and should be allowed to be their own, to do what they want to do in their own natural environment, and that we as humans are interrupting the natural
Yeah.
cycle of things.
Basically, return to Monkey for anyone
Return to
interested.
Monkey
Yeah.
for Pokemon, yeah. And as it's introduced in the very first area, I think the first big city in the game,
Yeah.
they have a rally where they outline their goals and outline what they want for people, and it really poses a philosophical question to the player as to
Which
hey, I am a mindlessly catching Pokemon and boxing them for eternity. Is that really okay, or should I
yeah, because
let
we
them
haven't been
go?
faced with a question like that before. So it's
Right.
just like you start to like question like what am I doing? Like
What am I
do
doing?
I
Yeah.
actually care about these Pokemon or am I just getting them because I want the perfect EVs and IVs? Because really it's
Right.
the
Am I?
latter, but in the
Yeah.
story we're thinking like
Am I taking these Pokemon from their natural environment just
yeah.
because I want them for my Pokedex, or am I taking them just because I
Hmm.
don't? You're not thinking
Yeah.
of the ramifications of what you're doing here.
Yeah.
Which is
exactly.
something they show in the anime a lot, is that like, oh, Pokemon don't, Ash wants to catch a Pokemon, but he won't take it because, oh, it's got a family, or oh, it's got this,
Hmm.
or oh, it's something like
Can't
that.
be the
It's something that's skipped over a lot.
yeah. Oh
But
man, we could
anywho,
we could have an episode about talking about Ash. I feel like a character study.
the Frozen one.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then after their speech, a lot of people they show a lot of people like talking about it, and that some people do actually release their Pokemon, like, hey, just get out of here and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
it does pose a question because some Pokemon are like, I don't want to leave. Like, why would I do that?
Hmm.
And stuff like that. But
Yeah.
introduced after this story is a mysterious trainer, only known as N, who can apparently speak to your Pokemon. Like some weirdo, and he comes up and tells you that what your Pokemon thinks about you and stuff like that, and it says that your Pokemon doesn't want to leave and whatnot and stuff like that. And then he proceeds to battle you as a hypocrite because he uses a Pokemon caught in a Pokeball. So N poses as a story beat multiple times as he shows up and criticizes you and talks to your Pokemon a lot, and like talks to you about like, oh, and really tries to hammer in the point that like, oh, Pokemon are natural and should be in their own environment, and you're doing that just to fill out your Pokedex, you evil monster, blah blah blah, let me battle you and stuff like that. It's a little bit weird,
Hmm.
but it does make sense in the long run when you think about it. So going through the story, it's always the main beats. You're traveling from your hometown to collect the 8 badges, defeat the Elite Four, and become champion, right? But you have constant run-ins with this Team Plasma people. I believe you do in the Dream Yard. They're actually beating up a Muna for whatever
Yeah, they're
reason, and then
kicking the
yeah,
shit out of it.
yeah, they're beating it up, and then Musharna shows up and kind of
Uh-huh.
confuses them and like poses as their boss and like tells them to run and stuff,
Yeah.
which kind of is creepy for psychic types to just be able to do that. They also what do they steal like a skeleton from a museum because they're looking
Yeah.
for,
Wasn't it like a Dragonite skeleton?
it's a Dragonite skull. Yeah, they steal a skeleton from a museum too because they're looking for something.
Mm.
They also infiltrate what like the cold storage,
Okay, gotcha.
and they also are in. I think that no, they're not in the tower, but they show up periodically throughout the story, always preaching their
Their
ideals to
hypocritical
everybody.
beliefs.
Yeah, their hypocritical beliefs as they battle you
Yeah,
with
as they battle you with captured Pokemon and beat the shit out of Pokemon. I mean, no,
yeah,
they're
as they
just trying to free Pokemon, but they don't give a shit about the Pokemon itself. It's like they should be
yeah,
free, but we're still gonna kick the shit out of them.
you don't care about Pokemon. We care about Pokemon. Go Patrat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they they have their own agenda,
Yeah.
and it really culminates at towards the end when you're about to take on the Pokemon League, because out of
Hmm.
nowhere, as you start your ascension to Victory Road, the the Team Plaza reveals their hand
Yeah.
and actually summon a castle
From the
that
ground.
from the ground. I don't know how this works, but they do. Oh
Some
yeah, they also talk about the
bullshit.
story about how there were two kings and there
Oh
was a
yeah,
dragon
this thing.
Pokemon, and then like because the two kings had different ideals, one was like about the truth and one had was about ideals. I think
Hmm.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
The dragon split, and one sided with the other, and then that caused a civil rift. And so the dragon separated into two things
Yeah.
and resides in an orb. And I believe it is the box legendary in black. They're looking for the white orb,
Hmm.
or no, they're looking for the black orb, and then in white they're looking for the. And so with them actually obtaining the orb, they are able to summon the legendary Pokemon either Reshiram or Zekrom, and with that they give it to their king, who just so happens to be N.
Yeah.
As they summon their castle from underneath the Pokemon League,
Yeah.
they crown N king of the Unova region and basically put under martial law, really. And so you have to fight your way up through Victory Road to the Pokemon League, and then defeat the Pokemon League, and then try and to go to the champion, only to find out that N has defeated the champion,
Yeah.
and that you have to fight N. But before all that, they also have like this interjected scene where the sages, or like the leaders of Team Plasma, stand up to fight you, and it's and that's when they introduce like the coolest thing so far, at least up until that point with Pokemon games, that the gym leaders actually come back to help you in your quest.
Yeah.
At least the gym leaders from the second one onward. Nobody knows where Silent Crest or Chili were, but yeah, basically every gym leader shows up to take on a sage,
Mhm.
and let you pass, and then you obviously go through Victory Road and End's Castle, and you actually get a little backstory into End that's kind of really fucking creepy
Yeah.
with End's Castle.
Yeah, cuz
Um,
yeah, cuz there's
Good.
also the whole thing with Getsis as well, which we haven't delved into yet
Yeah, we
either.
didn't get to yet, but like as you go through End's Castle, there's like an area like is filled with like children's toys and stuff like
Yeah,
that,
it was like his
and it
childhood room.
yeah, and it's like no, he's he's definitely aged up too. Like if you
Yeah.
could bring up a picture of N, he definitely looks like he's a little bit older than the player character.
Yeah.
I'd say he's like almost 17. At least that to me, that's what he looks like. And he's always like touted to be like more, enigmatic and stuff like that. But he's definitely, I don't know where the fuck that came from,
Mhm.
but he's definitely like older than
Yeah,
you are for
for
sure.
sure.
And so he gets the legendary Pokemon and whatnot, but it's like he's his room. It's still his room.
Yeah.
It is like filled with like children's crap, and it's you kind of get like this feeling like he didn't grow up right, or there's something off about him because he talks to Pokemon and whatnot. And I believe in some of this like yeah, that's his room. And
Mhm.
some of the side stuff, they even talk about how N was like adopted by Getsis because he could talk to Pokemon, and how N was like abandoned as a child, and he grew up in the woods, and that's how he's able to talk to Pokemon.
Mhm.
And that like nobody wanted, like once they like found and brought him back to like the orphanage, nobody wanted him because he's like, oh, I can talk to Pokemon, and they're like, oh, weirdo.
Yeah.
Like go back to wherever you were before, whichever you closed. You can actually see like the in-game cutscene right there with the Darmanitan and
Yeah.
stuff
Mhm.
of him in the forest, like with the Pokemon and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's yeah, because we haven't really talked about the new Pokemon, so I'm gonna hold some thoughts about that. But yeah, you can see him like a little weirdo with some Pokemon, but
Yeah, and
he's
so that's
protected
when
by the
gets
greatest, so I think he's fine.
yeah, and then Getsus adopts him and then indoctrinates him into the Team Plasma thing, and also gives him the two nanny. I think he also adopts the other two people with him. Yeah, those are like his handmaidens or whatever. I think they grew up with him,
Yeah.
but they also they just like, oh, they basically just like talking puppets, like, oh, N is the king and there's nothing you can do now, or blah blah blah. We feel sorry for N, whatnot. It's that and the other. It's
Mhm.
really just like a passover on these two characters. I really feel
Yeah.
like they could have had a lot more
Yeah,
to
I totally
say.
forgot they existed, honestly.
They could have like served as like more story beats, like, oh, N was adopted, blah blah blah, we think Getsus is evil, you should do that and whatnot, here's a full heal or stuff like that.
Mhm.
But anyway, you defeat, for whatever reason, with the gym leaders fighting the sages, the Elite Four decide it's still a great time to fight you for the
Mhm.
for the championship, while the champion is fighting this usurping power. I
Mhm.
don't know what the fuck's going on, but you still have to fight the Elite Four,
Yeah.
and so you fight the Elite Four, and then you get to the champions room, and you find that N has defeated the champion Alder,
Mhm.
and now you have to fight N. And so with his legendary dragon, and I believe your orb begins to activate, and then he's all like, "Oh, you need to catch your legendary dragon." He like, it's like, "Hey, catch your legendary dragon so that we can do battle."
Yeah.
And so that's when you have to do battle with your box art legendary. For me, I believe it was Reshiram. So you have to
Yeah.
battle Reshiram right there. Then you catch it, and then the game forces you to put it in your party. So
Mhm.
you have to abandon one of your Pokemon that you've been training this whole
And
time with, and then
also,
you fight
side thing
N.
too, they make the catch rate really, really easy for the legendary. They because it's part of the story. So
Right.
like you could have just thrown a Pokeball and you probably would have got it if you didn't battle it. Like it was so
Hmm.
easy to catch those things.
Right.
But
So then you do battle with N, which is pretty tough.
mhm.
I think he has a trainer thing on the side there. We could actually scroll down and see the battle. But he does have the legendary with him, as well as a pretty decent team. Let's see. Yeah, scroll. Yeah,
Yeah,
there you
right
go.
here.
Yeah, so he does have a pretty semi decent team with the box legendary Caracosta,
Mhm.
Vanillix. So it's a full six. Is
Yeah.
what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Yeah, full 6-on-6
Yeah.
battle.
Hey, as it should be.
Hey, oh my God, yeah, like an in-game boss having full team of six. Wow, oh
Yeah,
my
who would
God,
have thought?
who would have fucking thought?
Yeah.
So it is a tough battle. He also has the Zoroark, which does its illusion ability,
Mhm.
which is pretty annoying sometimes when you
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm gonna hit this Caracosta with a grass move, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's not very
It's like it's
effective, or
me,
it does
Schmigurple.
Schmigurple with Zoroark.
Yeah.
Let me hit you with this flamethrower or this critical night slash.
Mhm. Yeah, but
And so yeah, it is a tough battle, but ultimately you do beat if you are triumphant and you beat N,
you
and
realize
N is
he's
like
just a pawn.
yeah, N is like wow, when you beat him, he's like wow, I was beaten by somebody that even though they caught Pokemon and did all this yada yada yada, their bond was strong enough to defeat me, who made friends with these Pokemon and whatnot. Maybe you aren't so bad after all.
Mm-hmm.
And then dun 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 dun, the true mastermind is revealed as
Mm-hmm.
Getsis, as
Yeah,
he, is like, ah,
it was
damn
me all
you,
along.
who doesn't look evil at all.
He just looks like a douche.
Yeah, he doesn't look evil at all over here. This fucking priestly looking dude.
Mm-hmm.
Um, is the leader of Team Plasma, and he's always, saying like, oh, release your Pokemon, blah 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 blah. As it turns out, this wasn't just for the sake of Pokemon.
World domination.
World domination, yes. Gets's plan was to
That's
convince
the
so
key.
many people to relinquish their Pokemon so that no one would have Pokemon except Team Plasma, and then he would use the power of Pokemon to take over the world. And N was going to be his puppet, wielding the power, because he saw the him talking to Pokemon and believed he could truly activate the orb and speak to the legendary Pokemon. And then with the power of the legendary Pokemon, as well as Team Plasma, and as well as people releasing their Pokemon, that he would be the strongest, controlling N and controlling the organization, that he would take over the world.
Mm-hmm.
And Getsis isn't a pushover either. He
His
doesn't have a
battle is
legendary.
fucking brutal.
He doesn't have a legendary Pokemon, but his team is fucking stacked. And
Yeah.
this really goes to show like how lethal Gen 5 Pokemon can be.
Mm-hmm.
Like Hydreigon, Electros, Bisharp, Seismitoad are just like constant OU staples ever since they
Mm-hmm.
were introduced.
Oh yeah, and especially Electros has no real weakness. It has
Yeah.
Levitate, so it nullifies the ground type moves. So
hmm
nothing is like super effective on it. It's crazy.
Right. Bisharp has the steel type, so it just resists fucking hits.
Everything.
It also has access to like super high critical moves.
Mm-hmm.
Hydreigon's just a fucking pseudo.
Yeah.
Seismitoad just has bulk. Bouffalant has pretty decent attack, but it's a little bit lower in the speed category. Cofagrigus is basically just like a status mon,
Mm-hmm.
and it's also just like a wall.
Yeah.
This battle is pretty tough if you're not prepared for it.
Yeah. It's yeah, it freaking sucks. No, that's good. I was thinking about it, it's like Hydreigon's one of my favorite pseudos, and then I remember all the pseudos are my favorite pseudos. Well,
Right.
at least from like Gen 1 to 5, like I liked all the pseudos. And
Yeah, this one has two, I believe, both in
yeah,
Haxorus and Hydreigon. Well,
yeah.
I don't know if Haxorus is one,
I
but
consider Haxorus one.
definitely Hydreigon.
Yeah,
Hydreigon is definitely
because I
like
mean, in
the
Gen 3 they had both Salamence and Metagross.
yeah. Salamence, Metagross. Gen 4 had
Scarchomp.
Garchomp,
Yeah.
and then Gen 5 had Hydreigon and Haxorus.
Yeah, exactly. But I like all of them. I can't really think about like who my favorite suit is. I know who yours is. Like that, I don't even have to say it. But yeah, it's Dragonite, by the way, for those watching.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but yeah, like this is like one of the games that I can clearly remember like being hard
yeah.
or being
It
challenging
was
at least.
difficult, but
Yeah, so like hey, that's why a lot of people like it because it didn't treat the Black and White didn't treat you like a child.
mm-hmm.
It treated you like like you had some intelligence and you could
Yeah,
you'd have to try harder than you would normally try to beat the game.
exactly. And that's I think what I liked about it too is that like it didn't treat you
Right.
like a little kid like Sword and Shield does. Like this is
Right.
for like this is the game for the fans. Like this is a game
Right.
for like the people that are old enough to know how to like pick up the games and play it. This isn't like I mean I'm sure if you're like a casual kid you could maybe if you like try like if you train your team really really hard. But
Right.
like honestly, like this is for the fans. Like it felt like it was for the fans. I don't think that they've done a game like this since then, except for maybe like Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon.
Right.
But
And so after beating N, we get this actually like pretty teary scene and
yeah,
action, and they do have a probably one of the best songs ever
I
playing.
I'm not gonna lie, I teared up at the end of Black and White.
Right. They also like the Ends Farewell. Like it was so popular, it even got put in the Pokemon Symphony. It had its
Yeah.
own little bit right there.
Hmm.
So that it was pretty. It was pretty bad. It was pretty fucked up, or not fucked up. It was pretty sad. And realizes he was wrong, and he decides to basically just like take his legendary Pokemon and dip.
Hmm.
What you carry on with yours,
Yeah.
and by default, I believe you are crown champion. I don't think you actually have to battle the Elite Four again.
Mm-mm.
and then you like spin off into the post game. And Team Plasma isn't done after that.
No, you
There
gotta
are
hunt the sages. You gotta like just
yeah
like shotgun hunting them,
yeah you
like
you for whatever reason decide to like hunt them down,
yeah, like a
and like they go
like a fucking bounty hunter.
right. And they do have battles if you you could find them. I think one of them has a battle. If not, I don't remember it that well. Then I guess not.
Yeah.
But you do go around and find the sages, and they do give you stuff as well as like talk to you about like what T Plasma was about and
Hmm.
whatnot.
And is all at places where you've encountered them before, like the cold
Right.
storage and the relic castle and all that.
There also is a post game area. It's like well, yeah, it's probably post game because you need surf to go get it.
Hmm.
It's like left of your town. I don't remember what it's called, but it's basically like the area where they researching
The
Genesect.
where it's like the warehouse or something like that.
Yeah, the warehouse. Team Plasma is definitely like parallel to Team Rocket. I would
Hmm.
put Team Rocket and Team Plasma
Yeah, I would.
as probably like two of the most powerful evil teams
Mhm.
that
At
they've
least technologically advanced for sure. They're definitely there.
that they've made because
Yeah.
Team Rocket was into like abducting Pokemon and extorting money and running racketeering stuff, whereas Team Plasma was like they had their evil goal, but they also like were researching their own powerful Pokemon with Genesect as to Team Rocket had Mewtwo.
P2 Lab.
P2 Lab, that's what it is. They were researching
Genesect, which is the uber mythical in this
the
game.
uber mythical of this game, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is pretty. I enjoy Genesect. I think Genesect's a fucking
I thought it
awesome
was kind of
Pokemon.
cool, and it's also one of the few man-made Pokemon as well, which was
Right.
interesting.
I
But
think it's fucking awesome, and it's a damn shame that it doesn't get more spotlight.
mhm.
Hopefully, in the Gen 5 remakes, they have a fucking Genesect episode or
Oh my
something.
god, that'd
Because
be
yeah,
sick.
right. You can
Because
only
like
get so
Genesect kind of almost has like a same arc as like I feel like it's like it was trying to be like the Generations Mewtwo, where it's like it's being made by man, but it was too strong. But
right.
it's something where it was wasted potential because they didn't really delve too much into it, other than giving you the drives for Genesect, and
Right.
that's it. But
That's it. Yeah.
God, it's so
Yeah.
cool.
It would have been tight if like you beat N, or maybe in the remakes they could do this. If you beat N, and like the dragon's dead. The dragon's not dead, but the dragon's like fainted, and yours is
Yep.
like kind of beat up, and Guts is like, no, I won't have this, blah blah blah. And he throws out Genesect, and like the
Mhm.
cannon just goes off and like obliterates
Oh,
your dragon Pokemon.
Mega Genesect
Oh, Mega Genesect, yeah, something like
with
that.
a
I don't know.
Blastoise like cannon.
Yeah, I feel like Genesect. The people sleep on Genesect,
Mhm. But also,
and
then again, it does have a quad weak, so with
it is, but you can play around that.
yeah,
You
exactly.
can especially even
Yeah,
bait that
it's
out.
not like you're gonna be fighting like fire types
I mean,
directly.
its
So
base stats are pretty fucking good. Go to
yeah.
Genesect.
Okay, so Genesect, there's stats right there.
It's
Base
got base
stats.
95 in most except for attack and special attack.
Yeah, and its speed is 99, so it's pretty close.
99.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
that's nothing to
So
scoff
it's
at for sure.
right. It's got decent in every stat,
Hmm.
but its design wise, it's just so cool.
Yeah, it's
It's
dope.
also based. A lot of people have the fan theory that because they talk about Genesect was built off of a fossil, and they're talking
Mhm.
about how they believe the fossil to be Kabutops.
I could see that. I never
That's
thought
the
about that, but that makes
that's the
sense.
prevailing fan theory is that that they revived a Kabutops and that's the Pokemon they used. I'm pretty sure it's a different Pokemon
Yeah,
entirely,
yeah.
but you could see like some of the similarities between it and Kabutops. Is the cannon is definitely like man-made and put on there,
Hmm.
but like the general frame is definitely like you could see it.
Yeah, you can kind of see with like the hook kind of arms and
The hooks, the
the
legs,
head is kind of
the head,
similar.
yeah. Yeah, so they have that. Other legendary Pokemon that they introduced in this game, they introduced the sacred what
The Kami trio, which
the
is
Kami
now a
trio.
Quattro.
Oh, Quattro, yeah. And then they
Yeah.
also introduced the what is it? The
They also
Swords
intro-
of Justice.
yeah, the Swords of Justice and Victini as a mythical.
Victini was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I love Victini as a mythical.
mhm. I like
It
Victini.
did.
I mean, not as much as like Jirachi and Celebi and stuff, but like it was still
Hmm.
really good.
Right.
Um,
I think it fits nice up there.
yeah.
If I had a shelf with them like Mew, Celebi, Jirachi, Manaphy, Victini, what's the Gen 6 one? Is it
Uh,
It's not. It's Diancie?
yeah, Diancie technically.
Or no, Hoopa. At least regular Hoopa, not Hoopa Unbound.
Hmm.
And then Gen 7 had Mars Shadow, and then what was the Pixie in Gen 8?
Gen 8.
But yeah, they also introduced the Swords of Justice with Cobalion, Terrakion. I guess that one's also a Quattro. Cobalion, Terrakion, Virizion, and then introduced in Black and White 2 is Keldeo. All of the Swords of Justice all follow a
Hey, let's pull up my little. I forgot that I had these
yeah, there
my
you
little
go.
squishies of mythicals.
Your your Green Onion, your Mew, and your Victini.
Yeah, because they had a Black Friday box at Target with
Notice
all
they all
these.
have blue eyes.
They do all recessive traits.
Yeah. But yeah, they also have the Swords of Justice with Cobalion, Terrakion, Virizion, and then Keldeo introduced in Black and White 2 as
Keldeo
catchable at
was,
least.
yeah, it wasn't catchable until Gen 8,
Yeah.
but it was
Or at least,
cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
catchable. Yeah,
yeah,
you were given it an event,
yeah.
which is a pretty cool in-game event.
Yeah, it's
But
really
yeah,
cool because that's like
you
one of the few times where you could actually catch a mythical in
right,
like a game.
right. And I like the Swords of Justice trio because it's definitely like a callback to like the legendary birds where you have to actually go out and find them and you're not told
Hmm.
much about them.
Yeah.
I mean, with Terrakion, I think you can access it before the Elite Four because it's in Victory Road.
Hmm.
But with Cobalion and Virizion, you do have to kind of like go look for them after.
Yeah. So, actually, this game technically you don't need Surf or Fly to beat the main game. All you need to be Cut. But
Hmm.
everything else, I mean, it helps with it to like access other areas, like for Cobalion and Virizion,
Right.
whatever.
And
But
you do, yeah, you do need like an HM slave to get there.
yeah,
But
exactly.
I really enjoyed that aspect of like going to look for them in Black and White 2, or yeah, in Black and White 2. We'll talk about that when we get there, but it's different.
Hmm.
But I really enjoyed like looking for them in this game. And we also have the Kami trio with Landorus, Tornadus, and Thundurus,
Yeah.
which serve, I believe, Tornadus and Thundurus are roaming Pokemon.
Yep, they are.
And so you do have to go out and find them, but it's also like the same with Heart Gold and Soul Silver, where you need both version legendaries to get the final one. I think
Hmm.
it was like what Kyogre and Groudon to get Rayquaza.
Exactly. Landorus is like level 70 when the others are level 40, so it's like you really got to be ready to like get it.
Right, which made it a pretty decent thing. I really am a fan of like super high level
Hmm.
Pokemon as like an end game kind of thing
Yeah.
because I feel like it adds more, like you said, it adds more of a challenge to like catch it. Like I
Hmm.
mean, fuck it, it's a level 70 Landorus.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
gonna go through 3 or 4 of your members before you actually manage to catch it, unless you get
yeah.
super lucky.
Yeah, which I was very lucky with all the legendaries this game. I feel like I think I was getting them in like 3 Pokeballs,
Right.
and
And then they also have
Kyurem,
Kyurem, yeah, which
which
follows the same thing before, is like it's in its own
yeah,
area, is not talked about at all.
mm-hmm.
You do have to go get it,
High
which I
leveled.
like. High leveled, which I love.
Yeah,
Like everything that I just said is like a check mark as to like
mm-hmm.
what makes a good like
Yeah,
a good
and
Pokemon
also I
game.
feel like that it parallels with Giratina as well, where it's like in the original
Right.
game it's not really delved in too
Yeah.
much. Again, like you said, it's not talked about too much. But then in
Right.
the second iteration of the generation, they really give it this whole story.
Yeah, they really give this whole story, and it's just perfect. Yeah, so here's hoping that they that they do it for that Genesect gets some love later on.
Hmm. Yeah, I hope so because
But yeah,
it's long overdue.
every legendary Pokemon I have nothing bad to say about. At first, I didn't like the Kami trio. It
Yeah.
kind of just felt too weird, like like humanizing
They
the
just seem
Pokemon.
like copy paste. That's why I didn't like their original designs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the fact that just that like they have that human design in a
Yeah.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
I don't really care for that too
Yeah.
much. Like Bisharp, it's okay because it's not too. It's
It
just got
looks
arm
like a
and legs.
Digimon.
Yeah, but these guys just got like buff ass arms
Yeah.
and are like
They look like
just
bodyguards.
doing that. I love what they did with them in Black and White too,
Yeah, which we will also get into with their
which we'll get to later.
yeah.
But for the most part,
But
I have
also
nothing bad to say about legendaries.
but also in general about Black and White's Pokemon roster, how'd you feel about it?
I liked a lot of the Pokemon. I am like it took me a long time to like Vanillite and Vanillash because fucking
Hmm.
ice cream.
Yeah.
Just fucking sock and throw, just fucking Bert and Ernie.
Yeah. Hey Bert.
Uh yeah, or just fucking Bert and Ernie. The
Yeah.
starters, nothing really super to write home about.
Yeah.
Fucking Herdier
Yeah.
is literally a dog.
Hmm.
Purloin
The
and
Monkey Trio, which
the
these
Monkey
were
Trio.
in the lore were the original starters of Unova.
It's true.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know, yeah.
Sharna.
I liked him. Blitzel's fun.
Yeah.
Gigalith
Uh,
shiny is like
so
ridiculously cool.
Roggenrola, this was the first Pokemon that I caught with Pokerus on it. Yeah,
Hmm.
I had a Roggenrola with Pokerus, and that was like the best thing. But yeah, Audino was our new Chansey for like gaining XP.
Hmm.
Yeah, we had.
I liked
I like
the
Siphon
fighting
Toad.
line.
Yeah, Throw and Sock.
Yeah.
Or are you talking about Conkeldurr?
that whole
Yeah.
line, Timber and
Yeah.
Girder and Conkeldurr.
Also, this game introduced my favorite Pokemon of all time, Darmanitan. Original
Yeah.
Unovan Darmanitan, for the record. I like Galar Darmanitan, but Unova Darmanitan is just so much better. But the
Right.
Darmanitans that I always use had Sheer Force. I never used the ones with Zen mode. So,
Right.
and I didn't expect it to be anything like this. So up until this generation, my favorite Pokemon of all time was Quilava. That was just like
Hmm.
undisputed favorite Pokemon ever. But when I was playing through White version, I needed a Pokemon to beat Art, the bug gym leader. Or, yeah, it was Art, right?
Berg.
Berg. Yeah, Berg. And so in the route right above you, I think it's Route 4. Is that right?
Hmm.
Yeah, so
Yeah, Route
they had
4.
all the desert Pokemon. They had like Sandile, they had like Dwebble, and they had
Hmm.
Darumaka for whatever reason. So I was like, oh, this is a fire type. Let me go get it real quick. Let me just beat this gym with this fire type, and then I'll throw it away. Turns out, this thing fucking swept everything. It killed everything in its path, no question. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll keep it on my team because I don't know what I'm doing. And then it evolves into Darmanitan and becomes this big old fucking monkey. And I'm like, oh shit, orangutans are my favorite animal of all time. It's a beef monster. It's fast as shit. So yeah, it's now my favorite Pokemon of all time.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I love every moment of it. I love the fact that it exists. So thank you,
Right.
Game Freak, for giving me Monkey. So
Okay. So
yeah,
pivoting off of Alex's pitiful story of getting trashed
fuck
by Berg,
you, fucking rat. I'm opening
it's
my heart out. Shit.
it's not like they didn't give you every opportunity to catch a flying type or a rock type or anything that was good against a
Like,
bug
you know
type
what? I
before
went
that.
fire because fire's underrepresented and it's underappreciated. Flying
No,
is oversaturated. Fuck a
they gave
flying
you every
type.
opportunity.
Fuck
You
a flying type.
could have gotten Rock and Roller, could have gotten
I did
Boldore.
have a Roggenrola.
Well, there you go. I don't know how you lost to a bug gym
I
leader.
didn't
Then
think
there we go.
about it.
Anyway,
I didn't think about
anyway,
it.
we talk about the gym leaders this generation. First, the really cool gym leaders. The first one was like a kind of a doozy because it is actually a the first time we have multiple leaders of a gym, I believe, with
Yeah.
Silent, Crest, and Chili.
Mm-hmm.
And they also have a weird thing where they like have was it? It's the one that's super effective to you, right?
I believe so. Let me take. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because it says right over here, like if Snivy was chosen, then you have to battle Chili with Panseer, so on and so forth.
Right. And like we said, this is like a reintroduction in the series, so this gym kind of serves as like a tutorial about type matchups,
Mm-hmm.
especially with the fact that at the Dream Yard, which I believe they urge you to go to, you can get somebody gives you a monkey with the elemental weakness of the
Mm-hmm.
gym leader because of
Yeah.
your starter.
Right.
So if you chose Snivy, you go to the Dream Yard, they're gonna give you a Panpour to combat his Panseer.
Right.
Or if you're fighting Crest because you chose Tepig, somebody's gonna give you a Pansage to combat his Panpour
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have Silent Crest Chili, nothing to write home about. It was
Yeah.
just really neat that they, like their whole thing is a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
They're triplets. I would have hoped like you fought all three of them in one go. That would have been pretty tight. But you only do fight one of them. I mean, it is the first gym and whatnot, so it is kind of just like nothing to write home about.
Yeah.
But moving on from there, we have Lenora, the normal type gym leader,
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. I mean, her gym's cool. It's in a
Yeah.
museum. She's
Yeah.
supposed to be like an architect or
Yeah.
like a
And then
something
in
like that.
Black and White 2, she becomes the fossil person, but
Yeah, she becomes the go-to person for the fossils.
mm-hmm. Did the husband
After
die?
that, Berg, for whatever reason, Alex couldn't beat.
Fuck you.
Leader of the Castelia City
It
Gym,
was a
which I
cool
kind of
gym though.
it was. I just think it was. Well, I mean, I guess it makes sense with like his artistic thing being like the gym leader for New York.
Mm. Right. Yeah.
Um,
Artsy fartsy.
Yeah, I would have preferred it if they did like more of a team gym leader than a type gym leader,
Mm.
and like he had like rats, he had like a rat and a pit of and like
Wait,
animals
are
that
you
you'd
making your
find.
own gym? Like,
Yeah,
mm.
animals that you'd find in Unova or or
A rat
animals
with
you'd
a
find in New
pizza?
York. Yeah, rat with a pizza. Moving on from there, we go to Nimbasa City. We have the
Elisa.
electric type
She
Elisa,
was she was pretty tough.
the model
Uh huh.
gym leader.
Yeah.
Her gym was pretty cool. It was like an
Mm.
amusement park.
Yeah. Yeah, that was sick.
I
And then
enjoyed that.
fifth gym, Drift Veil with Clay.
Clay, just like
Yeah.
the typical American businessman
Yeah, poison one of my
exploiting,
constituents.
yeah,
Yeah.
exploiting the
Yeah. But
mines.
Excadrill was fucking rigged in this game though.
Excadrill was a pretty tough Pokemon, especially for the fifth gym
Yeah.
to
Yeah, that
go
was
at it.
tough. Like you
You know,
could
unless you
easily
don't prepare for
like
it. Yeah.
you could easily solo Excadrill in this game too.
Right.
Yeah.
Moving on from there, we got the Mistralton City Gym Leader,
Skyla.
who's Jim's. Yeah, Skyla was
It was a
Jim's pretty cool
cool
because I believe
boring battle.
you get shot out of cannons and shit.
Yeah, yeah, that was dope.
Yeah, unfortunately, the flying type, especially this late in the game, isn't just isn't that hard to
Mhm.
combat,
Yeah, it's
especially when you have 6 Pokemon to her 3.
yeah, and especially with Swanna as her ace Pokemon. Like, come on now.
Right.
Yeah.
Her story is kind of cool because she's like a new gym leader. Her grandfather recently retired. Plus, she also runs like a air cargo business, and like flies and stuff like that. The city does have an airstrip and whatnot.
And you just pulled a Skyla card recently, right?
I did, yeah. I pulled the
and,
Skylar
yeah,
card
you can pull
recently.
that up in the macro vlog. Links up right up
Yeah,
there.
yeah. We'll tag that one in there. Next one after that is the
Bryson.
7th gym leader, Bryson, whose
With,
gym wasn't anything to write home
yeah,
about.
it's like the snow slides and shit like that.
Bryson himself also kind of doesn't fit. He's kind of like more Japanese, and like his outfit is a little bit more Japanese inspired
Exactly.
than I would say. That's so far from everybody else.
Everybody else is very Americanized.
Everybody else is very Americanized, but I don't. It sticks out, but it's not something I'm
Yeah,
like, oh,
I like Bryson's design for sure.
right.
His team was fine. Also, Crab
Yeah.
was so difficult to catch in Gen 5. I feel like it was a Chimecho of this generation. It's like you didn't want to use it, but you had to catch it for the.
Yeah, and then a theme you notice with all the teams that we've gone over so far, everything is a Gen 5 Pokemon. There are no the previous Pokemon in any of their teams.
Exactly. I mentioned it earlier about like there's no other Pokemon from the previous generation. That's a brand new experience.
Right.
It's
and then we move on.
New world we live in.
Yeah, and then moving on from there, we have the battle with the 8th gym leader, who is version dependent.
But it literally doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. They have the same
exact.
It's
a sprite difference.
Yeah, but their town is different. The 8th town is different depending on which version you have. It's kind of basically like what we have now between the past and the future, with Scarlet and Violet is also represented in this game.
Oh wait, does that mean that there's gonna be a connection to Unova? Because past
Who knows? I mean, it is time for the Gen 5 remakes, right?
Right.
You battle either Drayden or Iris. But yeah, it's another cool gym. I believe it's like you go up with the dragon until there's the 2 of them fighting.
Exactly.
It is a gauntlet. You can't skip trainers in their gym, I believe.
Yeah, that's it's definitely a killer. And it's like you got to go all the way around to like you got to press on these platforms on their hands that will raise the neck of the dragon. Until you raise it up to the gym leader.
All right, and then we'll move on from the gym leaders to the Elite Four, who is, I would think, probably the toughest Elite Four aside from Gen 5 or Gen 4, right?
Yeah, this was definitely a tough one. But even though it was like a 6-on-4 battle, like this is actually the first generation where you got to choose the path that you go to battle them, because everything else you go like in the same order. This one you pick the order of the trainers you battle.
I think their post game fights are a lot harder, which is what it should be.
Also, Grimsley with that freaking Scrafty though.
I like all their designs really.
Caitlyn, cool.
Caitlyn is a returning character that we haven't seen before, so we do know that these games take place after Diamond and Pearl, because Caitlyn is a character in the Diamond and Pearl game in the Battle Frontier,
formerly of the Sinnoh Battle Castle.
Yeah, formerly of the Sinnoh Battle Castle, who's now a champion or Elite Four member.
Yeah.
And she's definitely aged up like a lot.
Yeah. So you can see right over here, there's no champion section that like the Getsus battle is the champion battle.
The N and Getsus battle is the champion battle, yeah. And then the second round, I believe it's a full 6-on-6.
6-on-6, and they're fucking stacked with other generation Pokemon on their team.
Right.
Like you're seeing like Grimsley with a Sharpedo and a Drapion.
And it's not like it changes. It's not like they change much. It's like 1 or 2 Pokemon.
Yeah. And then right over here, the Reuniclus and the Gothitelle.
I like the typing. It's like the most like diverse. Well, I think it's like the coolest typings that they've had. Ghost, Dark, Psychic, and Fighting.
There's no Gen 1 Pokemon in any of their teams, or no Gen 2 Pokemon. Looking at it, no Gen 1 or Gen 2. And then you get to the champion Alder, who is all Gen 5 Pokemon.
Right. I believe he is is only a post game battle.
Yep. And that Volcarona is his ace. I mean, you can knock it out with a rock, but still Volcarona is freaking tough. That'd be considered a pseudo legendary as well, right?
I think so, yeah. I mean, it does have its own area.
Yeah, I would consider it a pseudo. I still can't get over the fact that Silvally is a legendary. That type knowledge
Right.
so valuable to legendaries. I can't get over that thinking about it. But
Right.
anyways,
Moving on, another aspect that we could have talked about earlier, but we put it here anyway.
yeah,
It's a lot more relevant here because you're definitely gonna have Pokemon that are gonna be like in the red
yeah.
when these battles. Is that the music does change when your Pokemon drops, depending on how its health does.
Hmm.
It also changes the sprite speed. If it's at full health, the sprite moves normally. However, if it
Yeah,
starts taking damage,
it'll
the
like
movement
slow
becomes
down.
slower. Yeah.
But actually, we use so on the streams and whatnot, we use the low health music for whenever somebody has a shiny Pokemon find. So
Normally it's just me,
yeah,
but yeah.
usually it's just Bano, but wait, who got the shiny? Oh no, wait.
What's going on?
Oh no, 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 no.
Right.
Okay, anyways.
If you ever have a time to look it up, do the Gen 5 music hits different video.
Yeah.
That is just fucking hilarious, and
Oh
it's just
man.
like is an appreciation for Gen 5 music because it definitely goes under the radar
You
sometimes.
gotta link me that later on. I don't remember it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Another thing
so
we talked about earlier was version differences.
mhm. We
Yeah,
talked very slightly about Oplucid City, but
yeah,
there's another
Opelousas
area.
City is different. Yeah, and then they also have the two new post game areas
Mhm.
after you beat the game with Black City or is it Black City and White Forest?
Yes, Black City White Forest.
Yeah, Black City and White Forest. So depending on the game, obviously Black and White respectively. With Black City, what's happened is if you had any like contact with people either through Enterlink or I think it's Enterlink exclusive really, with people coming over to your game, it would introduce trainers in Black City to fight, and it would be more of like an area where you could fight like high level trainers.
Mhm.
So if you crossed over with somebody and they introduced a trainer, that trainer could have, like you see the list here, Chansey,
So
and it'd be a high level Chansey, or it could be
Blissey.
like Nidoking,
Use your
Salamence.
eyes.
Use your eyes. And the opposite is true in White Forest, where in White Forest you actually have the ability to catch these Pokemon, like they
Mhm.
exist in the forest to catch. And so if you found if the person had Salamence, you'd find Bagon in White
Mhm. Oh
Forest,
yeah,
or
you'd
if they
see it
had
right over here on the right.
Blissey, yeah, you could find
Happiny,
Chansey and whatnot.
Corkish.
I know a lot of people love these games to shiny hunt for these Pokemon in White Forest.
Mhm.
I don't know how. I've done very little like research on how to
Same.
do it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you'd have to like either restart your game a bunch of times, or at least a black game a bunch of times
Mhm.
to get the Pokemon you want to hunt in White Forest, because you'd have to go through all the beginning stuff to get your Sea Gear, and then go into their Enterlink to get that spawn in their White Forest to see what it is,
Exactly.
and go through it all again.
Mhm.
But it is a nice feature to have, especially with the amount of Pokemon they have, because each one is like some of them are repeated, but like you got your access like Mareep, Shanks. Uh, Earlier was Trampich, Bagon, and
Mhm.
you'd use your eye, Togepi, Elekid. You could use your eyes
Use your eyes.
and see the Pokemon there as well as the items. So it
Mhm.
was I obviously of the two. I mean, I had Black first, but if I
Mhm.
had to pick now, I like the White
Yeah.
Forest more.
I only had white. I need to grab myself a copy of black. I think I just gotta pull the trigger on it and just go for it. But
Right.
yeah.
I would love to go back and do like hunts in White Forest. I probably will at some point do it in the Black and White 2, because Black and White 2 has the shiny charm.
Mhm.
Makes it a lot easier. I'm a big fan of reduced odds hunts just because
Yeah.
I'm
Oh
not
yeah.
here. I'm not here forever.
Yeah.
But I have nothing against full odd hunting if that's what you want to do. It's just my personal
As one of our
preference.
friends would say, do what makes you happy.
Yeah. I'm a fan of reduced odd hunts just because
Yeah.
I get that dopamine hit faster.
Mhm.
But I
Right.
have nothing against full odds hunting.
Right.
But moving on from there, we could talk about the
In
in-game
trades,
trades.
this is something that you were really looking forward to talking about.
I like
That
talking about it just because the things that like none of the usually none of the in-game trades are good. I don't think
yeah.
there's been a good one since like
Mm-mm.
the Machop in Goldenrod City.
Right.
But there are kind of cool because in this one you could trade for your version exclusive Pokemon with with somebody in game.
Yeah.
So you weren't reliant on finding somebody to trade you the other version exclusive
Mhm.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
Whereas in, you could trade for Cottonee for Petlil or Petlil for Cottonee.
Named
The
Fluffy.
only difference, yeah, the only difference was that they had their nicknames on them, and then
Mhm.
the OT. So the names are Lil and Fluffy, spelled
Yeah.
dumb.
And then you had
Uh,
Blue Eye and Red Eye for your Basculins.
for your Basculins, yeah, and they only request a Minccino.
Then you have and look at this name, Mini Pete.
I don't know why one needs mini Pete. That must be an inside
Mini
joke for
Pete.
for the translators somewhere.
Oh, I
Oh,
love
well,
it.
the owner's trainer's name is Manny.
His
Is
name Man.
Manny
Oh, Manny Pete, Manny and
Manny
Mini
Pete?
Pete.
Yeah,
I
Mini
love
Pete,
it.
and then they request a Boldore,
Yeah,
and
and
then
then Eeks the Rotom.
Eeks the Rotom, which is pretty cool. I
Yeah.
mean, I think you do get Ditto as a
Mm-hmm.
pretty common
Yeah.
encounter later on,
Right.
but Eeks the Rotom is pretty cool. And then my favorite one of the trades,
Gorge.
Gorge the
What an
Munchlax.
absolute unit. What a
I
fucking
will
unit.
I will definitely make it effort to go and get Gorge to transfer him up to the current games,
Mm-hmm.
just because I like
Yeah.
I like it. And Ander is the trainer. It also has what Natural Gift and Snatch and Last Resort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you can
It's
only
also
get
a
it in the
level
summer.
60. Yeah, and it's a level 60 trade.
Also, it's the Pokemon, like the level that you trade them doesn't matter because they're gonna give you that set level anyways. That's kind of cool.
Right.
Yeah. If you,
And then a cool thing about the in-game trades, at least for a couple of them, I believe it's only the first two, is that you can actually battle those trainers with your traded Pokemon later on. You can
oh
battle
yeah, they
the
trade them.
Pokemon.
They train them up to be
Yeah,
really
you can
difficult.
battle them. And then there's the Chinchino, I believe you trade for. I can't remember. I
That's
think it's
cool.
Mini
I
Pete.
didn't know about that. That's sick. God, so
Yeah,
many
that's
layers.
pretty
It's like an
tight.
ogre.
It's like an ogre. I really wish they do more of that. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
As far as I know, it's limited to just this game.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be really cool to see a trainer like do like a level 100 battle with something you
It'd be
gave
cool if
them,
they did anything fun like this again.
right?
Uh,
There's also an evolution method change in this game. They introduced a new trade evolution between two Pokemon, Shelmet and Carablast.
yeah, where you have to trade the other Pokemon, like the opposite Pokemon. Like you have Carablast, and you trade it with Shelmet. That's how they evolve, and they co-evolve.
Right.
Yeah.
Then they also, and this is the first generation where they introduced the what's it
Prism
called, the
scale
Prism Scale
for
to
Feebas.
evolve for Feebas into Milotic
Yeah,
because
because
they
there's no contests in this game. There's musicals, which we could get into, but yeah, there's
we'll
no
skim over.
conditions, no stats of that aspect, so no smart and beauty and all that stuff. No, it's just a
Mhm.
prism scale. Also, something to segue into as well. There's no ribbons in Gen
Mm,
5. There's
Nope.
nothing. So it's like if you're going through like a ribbon challenge, you just skip through Generation 5. You go straight into X and Y, which
Right.
is very weird.
Pretty sad.
Yeah.
Pretty sad.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on from there, but yeah, you also do have to trade with the Prism Scale. It's not just
Mm-hmm.
a given item and then you
Yeah,
go for it. But
exactly.
yeah, I think it is the first game to introduce that. Overworld encounters are pretty cool in this game because you can interact with like a ton of Pokemon. A big one, obviously, right off the bat, is Zenmo Darmanitan.
Yes.
So you don't have to like go to the Dream World and look for it. You can actually
Oops.
just straight up find it
Hold
in the Desert Resort.
Shit. There we go. Yep. Yep, you have
Yeah.
all the Zenmo Darmanitans right over here. You
They
have
also
your
have the
Fungus and
Fungus.
Amoongus.
Yeah, posing as
Sus.
items.
They're posing as sus.
You also can find Musharna has like its
Yep.
own like physical location. I feel
Yeah,
like it's more
in
like
the
the
dream yard, like
Lapras.
delved into the dream yard. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel it's like the Lapras encounter. Like you have to go and like get to a certain area to find it,
Yeah.
and then it's encounterable.
And then also the
Uh,
Zoroark was a special event Pokemon only in this generation, or at least in this game. Like you had to
yeah, but
transfer over the legendary beasts, the Entei Raikou,
I
so
think
you
it's the
can.
Celebi. You have to transfer over the Celebi you got in Heart Gold and Soul Silver,
No, no, right
or
here,
was
right here.
oh
It's the
okay.
beast.
Well, then that might be for Zoro. Then I
Yeah,
think I'm misremembering that
yeah,
one.
and then
And then
Volcarona.
yeah, another secret legendary to go find.
Yeah, exactly.
And
So you had to
so
go
if you're on
all
the
the way
hunt
out.
Yeah, if you're on the hunt for the Zenmo Darmanitan, you can go and find the. What's the trigger for Zenmo Darmanitan? You just walk up and battle him?
No, 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 no. You have to have Rage Candy Bar. Uh,
Ah,
yeah, yeah. You have to use Rage Candy Bar, and then they wake up.
yeah, Zenmo Darmanitan's pretty cool. I
Mm-hmm.
enjoy it. Well, I don't like the fact that it was a trigger to half health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. It's kind of more like a last resort kind of deal, but
I wish it would just be like a battle form, like
yeah,
an ability that just like Zen mode, like it starts the battle and turns you into Zen
yeah.
mode.
That would be cool. And then like it's kind of like opposite where it'll turn into normal mode after like when it gets to 50%. Kind of like Wishy Washy where it's like it starts off in the full school and then it
Hmm.
yeah. But honestly with Darmanitan, I like Sheer Force even more because I just wanted that power to just fucking body people.
Hmm.
So yeah, my Darmanitan was just yoked.
Another cool area because we have to talk about we're in the USA, so what's the USA known for? It's all about
Burgers.
sports.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sports.
Sports.
And so Nimbasa City is kind of like has a lot of arenas that I believe they change daily. The sports arena, it changes daily to different areas for sports. So you have like
Sports.
and this had like a lot of like trainer sprites because you no longer we have like school. We do have like school kids and researchers and whatnot, but they also had like football people and basketball and soccer and
Mm-hmm.
tennis and all kinds of different trainer sprites, baseball,
Mm-hmm.
and you could like run around and go battle them and like rebattle them every day and stuff like that. It was like
They
really
get
cool.
strong too.
They do, yeah. I really liked that idea. The cheerleaders,
Mm-hmm. Strikers. Sorry,
yeah,
football
strikers,
players. Sorry.
yeah, football
And then there's
players,
American football as well, I believe, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
American
Yeah.
football, and then
They
they have
call
the
them the backers.
basketball.
Or
And
smashers
there's
at
tennis.
tennis. Right.
Yeah, Smasher. Is that what it says?
Smashers.
Smashers?
Yeah, smasher.
Hoopsters with the freaking Pokeball basketball.
Yeah, that's sick.
Another area that's like a post game thing is like the Abyssal Ruins, which is kind of
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah,
It's
the
I don't know. It kind of stands out for me in Unova as like a weird place to go to
yeah, it was
because
really strange. It's
it's
like
kind. I don't know where they're drawing inspiration from it. Whether it's supposed to be like a nod to
treasure hunting.
Atlantis
Treasure
or a
hunting.
nod to like Roanoke Island or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But by going there, you do find all of the plates
Yep.
as well as like some relics that I believe you can
Mm-hmm.
sell for like money to
Money.
somebody.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
game really, really gave you a lot of money because they
but it
maxed
was
it out past the 999,000.
yeah, and it is a puzzle, so
Yeah.
it is like a whole like area. I really wish there was like an, I don't know, like a Kyogre-ish Pokemon down there.
Wasn't this the only place they used dive at?
Yeah, it is the only place you use dive
Yeah,
at.
and it was weird that they brought it back to Gen 5 when it was absent in Gen 4. Like,
Right. Just for this area. I
yeah,
don't know. I
but
think
it
this is
was
more of
sick.
like a tech, like a DS Tech demo
Yeah,
area.
I like it though. I really like it.
I do, yeah. I really wish if they do the Black and White remake, they put either Kyogre or they put like a new legendary Pokemon
Mm-hmm.
down there,
Oh man, that'd be yeah, like a
like a like a
Kyogre or
like a Sea Dragon or something.
mm-hmm.
Maybe they do what they did with the Kami Trio and they make like four dragons for
God,
Unova,
it's so funny when we say
and it's like a
Kami
water
Trio.
dragon.
When we say Kami Trio, I think of the Communist Trio.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Comrade
No, like yeah,
Trio.
maybe they expand the legendary dragons. There's like a
Yeah.
water dragon.
Oh man, that'd be cool. Or a water Reggie.
Another cool thing they could have easily done was like instead of like introduce a battle tower,
Mm-hmm.
they introduced a unique kind of area for the game called the battle subway,
Mm-hmm.
which I really looking back on it kind of feel like I should have
I never delved
enjoyed it
into it.
enjoy it more because like I said, they could have easily done like another battle tower where you just like take the elevator, trainer comes out of the wall and you fight the trainer there
Mm-hmm.
and do it. But no, you're like on a constant subway where you're going, and they also introduced like unique trainers to be like the frontier brains of the
Ingo and
game, and
Emmett.
Ingo and Emmett.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe Ingo plays a role in another game that we talked about already.
Legends.
Yeah, Legends. So
Which you can
so
check
sad for
that
Emmett.
episode up at the top over here.
Oh yeah, there you go. But yeah, like I really enjoyed the battle subway. I do think it was kind of cheese too. I remember getting bodied in some of the battles,
Mm-hmm.
but it does serve as your way to get like use your BP and get like the items that are restricted behind
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Basically like evolution and competitive battle items. You had to go through it.
Mm-hmm.
Also some TMs and
Yeah,
whatnot. It
exactly.
was
And
cool.
yeah, and this was the first generation where they allowed the unlimited use TMs, by the way.
Right.
So there's a lot of them where you could purchase them, but the price
Mm-hmm.
of them was very, very high because they're unlimited use. Then there are
Mm-hmm.
some that you could get by the battle subway, others that you just acquired in the overworld, but I was
Yeah.
very happy that they made them unlimited use. About freaking time.
Okay, so yeah, another thing I wanted to talk about that we're doing the battle subway is that it actually like the person that introduces you to the battle subway is actually the opposite trainer that you picked from when you start. So if you picked Hilbert, it'll be Hilda.
Mm-hmm.
It's right under the battle subway tab, multi battle characters.
Mm.
It's on the column again. But yeah, so yeah, they bring you into the battle subway, and I believe it actually I wanted to point it out
Nice.
because with their selection of Pokemon that they have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like here you go. You can actually see like the potential of a lot of Gen 5 Pokemon just based on the sets and items that they give to their Pokemon in the battle subway.
Mm-hmm.
So you have like Excadrill and Conkeldurr, Sock, Archeops, Crocodile, Rainiclus. Just by like looking at these sets and like the Pokemon themselves, you can like see like the potential that they had
Yeah, to
for
just sweep house.
to just sweep house, especially in competitive battling, because a lot of these Pokemon were used a lot, like Acrobatics,
Braviary.
Archeops, Regenerator, Mienshao,
Mm-hmm.
Golurk was a constant.
Then you have the
I
defensive
know
ones.
Conkeldurr, yeah, and more defensive mons and stuff like that, yeah, and
Durant has the
Ferrothorn, obviously.
defensive? Huh.
It also has attack too,
Yeah, I
yeah.
was gonna say Durant
Mandibuzz,
is like a fucking asshole.
Mandibuzz had like Defog and like Torment and stuff like that.
Right.
Chandelure, obviously too.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I really feel like this got slept on, and like if like a lot of people may have drawn inspiration for competitive teams based on these Pokemon that they had
Yeah.
available in here.
Oh, probably.
But yeah, it really showed you like how powerful Gen 5 Pokemon could be, even if you didn't like them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I really like that they introduced this concept. Also, your secondary player character just doesn't get erased from history.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so they have use somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we go on to Enterlink, which is kind of basically like your is this a Street Pass before Street Pass, kind of, but it used the internet instead
Kind
of
of,
Street
yeah.
Pass. Yeah. So you'd go to like other people's worlds. I believe you could only connect to one world at a time, and the time to connect took forever.
Mm-hmm.
Because it had to build that connection, and
Oh,
then
yeah. I
and
forgot
then from
about that.
there, the functionality is that you could only enter the ring around Unova. You couldn't go
Mm-hmm.
to like Nuvema Town or anywhere. The
Yeah.
functionality only existed in that ring.
Mm-hmm.
But you could do like stuff like you could go up to the trainer that like playing that game, and the program person that entered your world would be whatever trainer sprite they picked.
Mm-hmm.
So they could be like an ace trainer, or they could be a youngster, or
Or a
they could be
chef.
like, yeah, or a chef or whatever.
Yeah.
And they'd like run up to you and like talk to you and stuff like that. And that also played into some of the missions. Like you'd have to go and give somebody something, or you'd have to go and like try to sell somebody an item
Mm-hmm.
for like a ridiculous price. I think you'd sell something for like 9,000 Poké dollars,
Mm-hmm.
and you'd fail the mission if they didn't buy it.
Yeah, that was very cool. I remember using the Intralink a few times. I don't know how far I delved into it. It's so long since I played this, but
Hmm.
yeah, I remember doing this a couple times, like doing some like basic missions. I don't think I did the selling one yet. I don't think I was that good of a peddler of my wares.
Yeah,
But
there was also like a like you could place an item in the game for somebody to go find, which
mhm.
but it was an invisible item, so like how would they ever find it?
Right, exactly.
Stuff like that. So yeah, it was nice to have, but I definitely feel like it got slept on a lot. But by using the Entralink, you also got access to like Entralink powers,
Hmm.
some very basic ones like more money, more capture potential, encounter Pokemon faster and
Hmm.
whatnot. And it was very rudimentary. And like I said, you could only connect to one person's world at a time. So if you wanted to like build your Entralink tree and get those levels, you'd have to basically like go back and forth with a friend like forever to do
Hmm.
it.
Yeah.
It got like super streamlined in black and white too. I feel like they thought that like maybe they just like people just didn't do it, or like it was too complicated, so
Hmm.
they just like dumbed it down.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
it was nice. Like if you enjoyed it, you enjoyed it. I was very about it because I didn't see like the use of it too
Yeah.
much.
I didn't think about it too much. I remember enjoying it a little bit, but I was
Mhm.
mainly into Dream World when these games were out.
Finally, we can talk about Pokemon Musical if you want.
Do we really?
Yeah,
I don't know anything about it.
Pokemon Musical basically took like the dress up part of contests in
Mhm.
Gen 4 and made that like its own thing. I don't think there's like any like interaction in the performance part of the Pokemon Musical. I think it's all about dressing up the Pokemon, and that's it.
Yeah, and the only way to win is like make them look fucking stupid.
Yeah,
Like,
because like each thing has like their own like value to it. So depending on the items, it makes it like more
mhm,
uh
of a certain category.
yeah, of a certain category and stuff like that. And it's just, I don't
A
know.
fedora.
It's kind,
Lol.
yeah. They might have just put contests back in the game if you were gonna do
Yeah,
this.
yeah. This is kind
This
of
is like a triple rotation battle. It wasn't different enough from a
a dirty
contest to warrant.
whisk.
But yeah, like it didn't feel too different to be like its own thing. I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know.
yeah.
Really, we're
An
scraping the bottom of the
umber.
barrel here. Word filter, you put this on here. I
Oh,
don't know.
oh yeah. So now when you nickname your Pokemon, you can't name them butt or a curse word anymore. So now it's just gonna name. It's gonna be like, oh, you can't do that. If you try and transfer a Pokemon from a previous game that's named like Ass Face or something like that, it's just gonna name it Shiro for which is Japanese for white.
Wait.
Yeah.
Okay. Did not know that.
Yeah.
That's neat to know. Yeah, the Zoroark movie. They had a tie-in event with it where you'd get the where you download and you get a. I don't think you got a Zoroark. I think you just got the legendary dogs. No.
Yeah, shiny legendary beasts.
Yeah, shiny legendary beasts. I don't know how I got, but I think that was for Heart Gold Soul Silver. No.
I think so, but no, it's if you transfer them from that event, right?
No, I think it was because I remember. I think because I have 5 sets of them, and that would
Of
only
course you
work.
do.
That would only work with Heart Gold Soul Silver because it had Diamond, Pearl, Platinum,
Right. Why?
that and that.
Why'd you add it?
Because it had Zoroark. It was the
Oh.
Zoroark movie tie-in.
Mm.
So yeah, I think yeah, it was a nice tie because it introduced Zoroark. It was one of those
Yeah.
Pokemon movies where they introduced the Pokemon before the generation.
Right. That's true.
So we had the
Like how
Zoroark movie.
XD introduced Bonsai and Munchlax.
Yeah, and then I think
Or how
what
the
do you
anime
call it?
introduced Meryl.
They also had the Lucario movie, but I also
Right.
think there's a Riolu statue in the original Rescue Team.
Is there?
Yeah,
Oh shit. Uh
yeah, like just type like Riolu statue Rescue Team, or it might be a Lucario statue. I'm not sure. I can't remember.
no, that's a remake.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, but yeah, it was those ones right there.
Mm. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that is a Lucario statue, but
Yeah,
that's a freaking Lilligan, I think. Well, anyways, I believe you, but
yeah. So there was that, and then like you said, you got the legendary dog. I think in the movie,
yeah,
like it poses as the legendary dogs in their
Mhm.
shiny form, which is
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Hmm.
Another thing we could talk about that's like very insignificant, has like no bearing on this because it never became a thing, was the
Yeah.
lock capsule.
Yeah.
So the lock capsule was a item that they were gonna have for a event that never came to fruition,
Hmm.
and the only thing it
That's
had was the TM for Snarl.
Yeah, TM95. That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it literally says on here, while currently unreleased, can be received through the relocator in Heart Gold Soul Silver. That's
right.
so dumb. If for a move that's just mid at best.
Yeah, for Snarl. But yeah, if for whatever reason they abandoned that
Yeah.
event, I don't know
Yeah,
why
because they gave
it would.
you Zoroark and Snarl in Black and White too. Anyways, they just gave up
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, they just gave up. I don't know
Yeah.
why. But the last thing we could talk about before we end this episode for today is
Transfer.
the Pokemon transfer, which is what they added to do the to transfer Pokemon from Gen 4 to Gen 5.
Yeah, it was like a mini game. So you just transfer, you trade over like a team of 6 from your other
Hmm.
game, and you have to play this mini game where you have to like shoot a Pokeball through like a slingshot at these
Right,
Pokemon. They'll kind of move a little bit faster. Which I
right,
mean, I played this game trillions of times. I swear to God. But
right. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, the minigame is cool, but I mean, like we had like the Pokepark, that was the Pal Park
Hmm.
in 4 and 5, and it's like you could combine the Pal Park with the sprites because we already know they reused the sprites from Heart Gold and Soul Silver for the for the for the
Yeah.
Dream World, right?
Yeah.
Because if you go to the Enter Link and you go north, there's the Enter Forest, and
Hmm.
like the Pokemon from the Dream World will be there, and there were like ton of Pokemon in there.
Hmm.
So it's like you could have just put the sprites in a PAL park and like walk up, like kind of like how we have
Yeah.
it in Pokemon Go, where you just walk up and catch it,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Also,
I don't
there's
know.
a note on here too. Is that if you trade over those specific Pokemon, like you mentioned a second ago, like the Entei and all that,
Mhm.
by the Poke Transfer, you will not trigger the event. You need to do it through the relocator for those.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that was something
Yeah,
that's specifically notated. Also, they
but
can't go
yeah,
HMs when you transfer them over, so you got to make sure you go to a mood deleter first.
right. It's
Yeah.
so weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was like how you know this constantly moving the Pokemon, and I don't know. I didn't care for
Yeah.
the mini game. I mean, it's
Yeah.
cool, but
Hmm.
it is definitely like
Yeah.
annoying because
But
you can fail it, and then you'd
yeah.
have to play it again.
Yeah, it's like I just want to transfer them over. Don't make me play a game for this. Like the game itself is fun, but it's like I want to just transfer my Pokemon over. I don't want to have to waste a million years transferring 6 at a time while playing this freaking slingshot game.
Right, and I think they learned their lesson. It is unlimited, right? You can just
Yeah.
do it over and over. You don't
Yeah,
have to
they
wait.
finally thought about it that you could do it unlimited because in the other
Yeah, it's
games
not like
like
the PAL Park.
yeah,
Yeah, it's 24 hours.
so dumb.
So this one you can do unlimited, and then they learned their lesson even further because
Yeah.
now in like Pokemon Bank and Pokemon Home,
Yeah,
it's
you
just
just
instant.
transfer them in mass over.
Right, you just transfer them in
As you
mass, and there's
should.
no game. But
But
yeah, I think with that, there's nothing else that I can talk about Black and White. I
yeah,
mean, overall, I loved Black and White.
fucking love it.
I think at the time I didn't love it as much as I would do now.
Yeah.
I think if I was doing it at the time, I'd probably give it like a 7 out of 10. But
Mhm.
now I definitely see, I definitely see like the nostalgia
Yeah.
talking. But I would give it like a 9 out of 10 for sure.
I would have to agree. I'd give it a 9 out of 10. I do personally like Black and White 2 more, but
Right.
Black and White on its own was so good. Like there's so much stuff to do.
What's
There
holding me back
yeah.
is just the no old Pokemon thing.
Yeah, I mean, I like that part about it actually. I like that it
Hmm.
was just a new experience on there. I mean,
Right.
there's some small things where I was just like take or leave, but and there's like room for improvement that I think Black and White 2 really perfected. But
Hmm.
as it stands like on its own, it's just a stellar game. Like I could go back
Right.
to this, I feel like, and not have an issue, but Black and
Right.
White 2 is so much better that like it just trumps this one a little bit. But
I think it is like if you like forgot if for whatever reason if you're not a Pokemon fan or you
mhm,
never played a Pokemon game,
yeah,
this is like one of the games that I would
essential.
recommend you play.
Essential.
Like you I would say like Heart Gold, Soul Silver,
Mhm.
Black and White 2,
Mm-hmm.
and then whatever you want from there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd put ORAS in there too, actually.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, like definitely like, this would definitely be like the top three recommended games. I think
Oh,
Black and White and
100%.
Black and White 2 are definitely like up there.
Oh, 100%. Couldn't agree more. So go ahead and subscribe if you like what you saw. Also, leave a comment for us. Tell us what you think. Oshawtt's not the best. Piplup is so much better. Piplup is better.
I'm going out on
Piplup is
this.
better. Piplup
I'm
is
going out on
better.
this.
Say it with me, chat. Piplup is better. Piplup is better. And you guys have a good one later. Also,
Peace.
Bono's a rat.